Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 139 of the ReelTok Podcast. We have a joyous episode today, at least from my perspective. We'll be reviewing the Thunderbolts. I forget how to do it. I forget how to do an intro. I'm lost.
You're there.
Yeah, we'll be doing the Thunderbolts. We'll be doing Marvel MCU Post-Endgame Collaborative rankings. So if you're a fan of the Movie Draft podcast, Ethan Simi, Sophia, Frank Holsinger, Sophie Holsinger. I'm so sorry. I'm going crazy. Guest of the pod. And then Benny, what's his last name?
Burrito. I don't think it's real.
I don't think that's his last name, though. That's why I didn't know if you knew
it. Might be his last name.
Yeah, maybe. Benny Burrito. I think we've all been a guest on the pod. Have you, Seth?
Yeah, I've gone on twice. Yeah. Great guys. Really enjoyed it.
I'm 1-0 on the ReelTok podcast. I'm 1-0 on the Movie Draft podcast. Seth, what's your record?
I don't know. I can't remember. I don't think I've won. I did a collaborative. We did a collaborative. We did the auction. I don't think I won the auction.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Tyler.
Yeah, I've been on there four times, and I'm 2-1, and then one of them was a collaborative, so there's no real winner.
Okay, yeah. Go check out the Movie Draft podcast if you have not. But we'll be doing a collaborative ranking post-Endgame movies in the MCU. Do we do shows as well? I think maybe we throw shows on there.
No,
we'll talk latest trailers, movie news. We'll shoot the shit a little bit. We'll talk what we've been watching, how we've been. Want to say, of course, shout out to our executive producers, Stefan Johnson, Cody Whitney, Cole Beaver, and Christian Cintron. I appreciate all the support so much. Thank you to all of our Patreon members. Thank you to everyone in the Discord. We appreciate your support. Please go subscribe to the YouTube. Go check out the Patreon if you have not already. It really helps us out. It is entirely funding our trip to New York in how many months? 2 months?
2.5 or so?
2.5 months.
Or the man that is missing's wedding.
Yeah, for George's wedding. Very exciting for that. So quite literally wouldn't be able to do it without you all. So I appreciate it a ton. Go check us out on TikTok, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Spotify, on Apple, Amazon, whatever you're listening on. Rate us 5 stars, please.
Are we on Amazon?
Helps us out.
Who knows?
I think so.
Do people use Amazon to listen?
Yeah,
I have no idea. I've never once in my life used Amazon like music, but you post to it, right, Tyler, or no?
I think it just posts everywhere, but
I thought that's kind of what the impression I was under as well. Like, you should be able to find us anywhere. One thing, go check out the merch. Someone randomly bought like a mug the other day. Nice. Go check out the merch, because I was scrolling through. I'm like, yeah, I like our merch. We got good merch. So go check it out. Shirts, mugs, sweatshirts, hoodies, whatever you want. Go check that out. But yeah, very exciting episode. I'm amped to talk Thunderbolts. Like, I think this is the most happy I've been about after an MCU movie in like 2 years. But before that, of course, we'll talk how we've been doing. What have we been watching? George is on a bachelor party this weekend, I believe. He's got a very wedding packed year. His friends, himself, obviously, like he's got a ton going on. So I think this weekend is a bachelor party for himself. But Tyler, you got an empty room, man. How you been? What have you been watching?
Yeah, been shitty, to be honest. Packing and getting ready to move sucks ass. And Cam, I know you know that. And you're doing an insane amount of house renovations, which sucks. It's really weird. Selling a house is so different than buying a house, because I just realized that there's so many things just dings on walls and stuff that we're patching up, and small little scuffs of paint that we're spending so much time doing, that I feel like when I'm looking to buy a house, I would never even notice. But when you're selling it for some reason, everything matters. Every single time the tiny thing matters. Yeah. But when I'm looking to buy a house, all I care about is the layout. Do I like how where the bedrooms are and how the kitchen and the living room is open? It's all you care about is the big stuff. When you're selling it, it's you're so used to that all you're thinking about is the small stuff. So we've been spending so much time doing stuff that doesn't even seem like it's really making many changes. But yeah, and in a pretty empty room right now, because pretty much for showing our house, we got to make it look like pretty much we don't even live here. So pretty much all packed. Have donated a ton of stuff, sold a lot of stuff, given away a lot of stuff, thrown away a lot of stuff. So like really empty room, really empty house. And we're just still patching up stuff. We have pictures being taken on Tuesday of our house. So like that's our big deadline push to get everything done by Tuesday. So still a lot of stuff we got to get done before then. And then pictures will be taken, then our house will be on the market. And then it'll probably be 2-ish months of like just limbo that's going to suck ass, where like people are going to want to come visit the house and they're going to give us like an hour notice. And like basically once we get that notice, we're going to have to like pack both dogs, both cats up in a car and drive to some park and just sit there for like an hour and then drive back. And it's going to be really hectic, especially with Riley working nights. There's undoubtedly going to be days where she's going to be sleeping because she worked the previous night and works the next night. We're going to be like, well, you got to wake up and we got to get in a car and leave for an hour. So it's just going to be a really shitty 2 months. Like the next 2 months is honestly going to suck ass. So a lot of work, a lot of finances, a lot of time, just brutal time. So not a fan of last week and not going to be a fan of the next like 2 months or so. And my watches are probably going to be impacted by that. Not having I'm just not going to have time to watch a whole lot other than like the new releases in theaters for the pod. So really all I watched last week was Ephes, which I really, really loved. Very similar vibes. Like everybody wants some, and the fact that it's a baseball movie that's very much a hangout movie. So I think a lot of people who like that will like the same vibes. Very much a movie about the change of the times. Like basically a town has a baseball diamond that's going to be bulldozed and turned into like an apartment complex. So they're all playing one last game there and kind of just living it up one last time. Watched Havoc, which I know you guys reviewed last week. Thought it was fine. I actually really liked how it looked visually and kind of like the action sauce about it. So it makes me really excited to actually dive into Gareth Evans' more acclaimed films like the Raid films. But the actual story was just so generic and bland. Would have been cooler if Tom Hardy had a symbiote. Then watched Paddington in Peru. Clearly the worst Paddington, but still like the Paddington charm's there. I think it'd be like pretty impossible to make a Paddington movie that I'm just going to be like, yeah, this sucks. Like this is probably like about as bad as it can get. And it's still like a 2.5 star. No Sally Hawkins, no Paul King. So those are two big blows, but you still got Ben Whishaw as Paddington, who's great. And it's still got the emotion that hits when you want it to. And it's got Olivia Colman, who's awesome, and Haley Atwell. So I had a fine time with it, just middle of the road though. And then and then Thunderbolts, which will be our review this week. But that's really it. So really my time is spent with the house, and it has been awful and not been a fan. So that's been my week. So hopefully you guys have some better news and some more watches than just a couple of new releases.
I'm not gonna help you out there, but Seth, how have you been? What have you been watching?
Yeah, I mean, not amazing. Been like a pretty stressful week as well. I really hope you've had a good week, because this is like, Debbie Downer right now.
Get back. We're trying.
Yeah. I mean, when did I speak to you guys? Obviously booked New York since I last spoke. So that's all official. To be honest with you, Cameron, me and Anna, we left it too late. Flights wise.
Yeah. So this is not the way to do it. I got a new credit card for like a flight. And I'm putting like everything we buy onto said credit card. Yeah. And then I'm going to use like, once you spend this amount of money on it, you get this many miles. And that's my excuse or alleged free trip.
It's not that far for you though, is it? Like 2-3 hours maybe?
Yeah, it's like a 3-hour flight most likely. Let's go check. Let's go check the exact distance or the exact time. But no, it's not too bad. It's just it's not the way to do it, but it's the way we're doing it. LaGuardia. Let's see. Find some flights. Let's see.
I'm gonna say 3:10. That's my estimate.
If it were nonstop, leaving at 6 a.m., we'd arrive at 2:12. Or sorry, 8:12. I'm so sorry. It's 2 hours and 12 minutes is what I.
That's nothing.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Bro, mine's like 7:45 on the way there.
Oh, that's not great.
It's going to be worse if we go to Tyler.
That's fair.
That's for me,
because you'll probably have to fly from New York to New York and then to.
No, actually, Arizona, it's not about it. You fly to Dallas and then you just switch from Dallas to Austin.
I forgot. Is he getting married in Austin?
I thought so.
Yeah, we'll ask him when he gets back.
Okay.
I think you're probably right. If he gets married at the end of the year, quite literally the end of the year, and then it will be Austin. Okay, fascinating.
Yeah, because then you go to that kind of I think when I looked at that, it brought into perspective how big Texas is.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
Like the switcheroo takes an hour from Dallas to Austin.
Yeah, it's massive, man.
Too much. Week wise. What have I watched this week? I mean, it's been a lot of work this week. I am going to Barcelona in 2 weeks, which is nice. Shout out Spain. Going there for a couple of days, impromptu little trip with the mother. Little weekend away with the mother because I haven't been away with her for a while, so that'd be cool. Booked going to Greece in September with 2 guys I work with. That will also be very, very cool. I'm trying to think what else this week. That's kind of it. I mean, I've not really done too much. It's kind of been like just setting up and getting ready for everything. I didn't watch Thunderbolts, unfortunately, because I've heard it's a good thing. Yeah, I know. But, however, I will watch it. The only reason I didn't is because I didn't have any time yesterday. When I got back, the only time, I watched the film last night, but it was like 10, and I had missed the last screening, so that was annoying. I will watch it though, because I've heard good things aside from George. Hater.
I don't know what's up with George, man.
Well, George is he's out of the MCU. We know this.
I know. I didn't think this one would be the one that keeps him out.
True. I watched Mission Impossible. Mission Impossible 1.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through them with Anna. Mission to Mars, which is kind of funny. Halloween 2. Shout out George for that one. Night of Cups. Cameron, I watched Night of Cups.
Mid.
Great film. It does surprise me though that you liked Song to Song and hated that.
Song to Song's great. Night of Cups is
they're similar though.
No, Song to Song. Yes, they're similar, obviously, because they're right there. Both. What's his name? That I can't.
Terrence Malick.
Terrence Malick. Thank you very much. And he's got his style, obviously, but I find Song to Song way more fascinating. I wouldn't say I like. I really like Natalie Portman. I wouldn't say I like her more than Christian Bale per se, but I really enjoy when she's on screen.
Fair. I watched The Cat in the Hat this week as well. That was an experience.
The live action one.
Yeah, the Mike Myers one.
Incredible.
So fucking
one of
weird.
The most
It's so weird.
Yeah, the most. I'm trying to nightmare fuel movies, cursed images of a movie.
They're all do you know the what are they called? Thing 1 and Thing 2, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
They're fucking creepy.
Yeah. Insane.
Really, really weird. Yeah, I saw someone on TikTok about it. I was like, I'm gonna watch it. Very, very strange film. Also not a bad film, I will say. Not a bad film, same simultaneously. I watched From Dusk Till Dawn, which I know you guys reviewed a few months ago now. Maybe a year ago. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I don't think it's very good.
I remember what we said. I don't think we loved it. I don't think we hated it, but I don't think we loved it.
I will tell you. You give it a 3.
Yeah. Okay.
Tyler gave it a 3. George really liked it. He gave it a 4.
Gave it a 4. Okay.
Yeah, I give it a 2.5. So I'm kind of around your. I think it's fine. I think it's just whatever. I don't like Tarantino as an actor at all. I kind of hate him as an actor, just directly. And I find it really annoying. And I think the switch into the horror horror parts just doesn't work for me at all.
Yeah, it does change. My review says I enjoyed making fun of the movie while I was watching, so that's good.
Yeah, that makes sense. I watched Happy Go Lucky, which is a Mike Leigh film. Watched Chime again. I watched Barry Lyndon at the cinema this week. That was my highlight of the week. Actually, they were showing it. They did a lecture on it, so they did a whole introduction to the film, and they had a lecture come down from the local university and said something about it. That was really, really cool. Because obviously, it's Barry Lyndon. Seeing it on the big screen was amazing for me. One of my favorite cinema experiences ever. Adored it. Intermissions are cool, you know.
Yeah, I agree, man. I like an intermission
if they work. Like the Brutal. You watched the Brutalist, didn't you?
Yeah.
You know,
that worked
because it's like 2 halves.
Yeah,
and it's the same with Barry Lyndon. The first half is the rise, the second half is the fall. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
If they work, they're a really nice tool. It gives you a little bit of chill time as well. That was cool.
Mm-hmm.
I watched a Kurosawa film yesterday, Dersu Uzala. That was great. And I watched a Japanese horror called Audition, which I also liked. Watching The Last of Us as well. I watched. Oh yeah, Carm, I forgot to tell you, I have not finished Andor yet.
Did you just like you got tired of it, or
no? Not at all. I was really enjoying it. I just like did that classic thing where I had like a day or two where I was like really busy and I just haven't got back into it yet.
Yeah.
I watched
How many episodes through are
you? 6.
Okay, so you've seen like the heist plot.
Yeah.
That was so getting 5 or 6. They take them in like 3 episode almost plots.
Yeah. It's really good. Like I think like as far as
it's great. So I didn't know if you'd gotten to that.
No. It's great. And as far as like the setting and it kind of being like very like smaller scale Star Wars, and this is kind of like burdened with like mystery, almost noir at certain points. And it really goes into the political side of things. That's kind of the main thing. It's really, really good. Like it's really good Star Wars. And I think it gets even better from what people are saying as well by the end of the season.
the next 3 episode arc is like the prison arc, and that's its big.
That's got like high. So no, it's really good. I've really enjoyed it. I'm probably gonna get back into it this weekend because I've really liked it, and I really like what's his name, the main actor, the actor's name.
Cassian Andor's played by Diego Luna,
of course. Yeah, he's great in this. I really, really love it. Cast, small scale. Skarsgård, amazing as well. Adria Arjona,
fantastic, wonderful woman.
What a woman. But yeah, no, I'm watching that this week. I'll probably continue that. As far as the week's gone, like appreciate. Booked a few holidays, which was nice, and that's kind of it this week. That's kind of it.
Nice. Myself, I'll be the positive light. It has not been as bad of a week as it had been. Definitely getting back into the house, being able to like start putting things back together has increased the mental health greatly. I looked at my letterbox and it's bad, y'all. It's bad. This week I watched Thunderbolts.
Is that it?
Apparently, I feel
and you're still higher than films than me though, by a good distance as well.
I think I still got Tyler.
No, I think Tyler's caught up now. I think he's done
Tyler's past me. Damn.
Yeah, I think so.
I have subconsciously been tracking it. No, I got Tyler by 1, unless he's got a backlog. Got Tyler by 1 movie, 124 and 123. Nice. It's a dead heat race. That being said, like I'm not super active in the Discord by any means, but every month I'll definitely go in and check the film watch. Jaff had 160 movies watched last month. It's not real, man. That's not real.
Whenever I go in and I like look at the logs and stuff, the guy, he's doing like 6 films a day, and everyone just argues with him. It's like, how do you?
He's on that Kean film.
How do you absorb that? Yeah, he's like Kean but worse. Like, how do you absorb this?
Frankly, I don't think I'd like movies after that. Like,
I think it depends.
I think it's too much.
I've done like early this year when I was like sick for a few days. I think I did 4 in a day.
Yeah,
and like even that,
fine,
I'm like, but even consistent. Then, I'm like, oh, this is a lot now. I could not do that every single day. It's the on a normal day, if I was doing it every single day, the most I could do is like 2, maybe 3 max. I think it's just, especially if you're doing like cinema watches as well.
Yeah,
it's just time to do that, man, at all.
No way. I'm with you. That's too much. No shame. Like, shout out that guy.
Jeff. Numbers are crazy
for doing that. But I think at a point I wouldn't like movies anymore. Like I don't know. I don't know if I'd be able to sustain that by any.
Because he doesn't watch he watches not to be derogatory towards slop, but films. You know, like he watches films.
All right, slop are films.
Actually, this is true. We know the definition of slop.
Peak.
Yeah, that's fair.
Slop's peak film.
But you know what I mean? Like he's not just watching like those. He's watching like.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of my watches are kind of cheating. I will say, like, if I was able to log every time I like half watched Monsters University.
What a film!
It'd be up there.
Is that
very close?
Current obsession?
Nice. Yeah, that's the.
I think that's
obsession.
Very close to Ink, you know, and I love Ink.
It's actually like I originally had it a 3-star. It's up to a 4. It might continue to go up because I think when you watch it so much and you watch it with like a kid who's loving it, you have to almost like convince yourself that you also love it.
What's my excuse then?
Your excuse is just ball, I think.
Yeah, but like when you watch the first introduction to their group of just misfits, like Don, it's so funny.
Just a hilarious fella.
Thing.
There's like one joke. Oh, what's his name? The purple guy. I should know this because I know everyone else. He's the only one with one name. Art. He's my wife's favorite by far. But he's hilarious. They have to do a challenge in the sewer, and he's like, of all the sewers on campus, this one's my favorite. And they're like, you're hanging out in sewers, and he's like, I have a life outside the group. It's just a funny movie, man.
I think he's my favorite. Maybe him or Don. Actually, I've just looked too mean.
Yeah, Don's a funny guy, and like, I don't know. They call the one guy's name is Squishy, and they like Mike Wazowski calls him Smelly at one point, and he's like Squishy. He's like Smelly. I don't know. Stupid humor that it brings me joy. It makes me laugh a little bit.
True.
But yeah, this week apparently my only watch is Thunderbolts. I will say I was at work one day grinding on some Excel, and I'm like, I'm gonna throw on something I can watch. I started Star Wars: The Phantom Menace and got 2.5 minutes in, and then got distracted.
I swear you watch that every week.
Yeah, I do.
Swear you watch the.
I think I'm up to 6 watches. I think I'm up to 6.
Fucking give them real scores, then, Cameron.
I mind you, every single time I watch them, they go up.
By like a point.
It was at no. It's been more than that because let's go.
What is it now?
I think it's at a 3.5.
Oh, Phantom Menace is at 3.5.
Yeah.
Oh, same as me then. Okay, I mean the other
it's at a 3.5. I mean, my first 50, 51, 58, 62, 66. I mean, we just keep going up. I think the more depressed I get, the more I enjoy Star Wars is kind of what it's alluding to. But that's what we got today. We're going to move on to my favorite segment of the week, and that's talking slop, talking this beautiful franchise released 17 years ago yesterday. This MCU franchise started. Wait,
are we doing the ranking now, or are we doing Thunderbolts?
No, we're doing Thunderbolts.
Okay, right. Let me know when you guys are finished.
Thunderbolts. I'm just laying the land, setting the scene a little bit.
Have fun.
Thank you. Yeah, but Thunderbolts released this week to very good reviews, it released to very good reviews a little while back, and I got very excited. Thunderbolts directed by Jake Schreier, if I'm pronouncing that. Everyone deserves a shot after finding themselves ensnared in a death trap. 7 delusioned cast-offs must embark on a dangerous mission that will force them to confront the darkest corners of their pasts. 7 is a stretch in this, but we'll say 7 delusion cast-offs. That's about 1 too high of a stretch, maybe, but we'll get into it. It's not a spoiler, but we'll get into it more in spoilers. Tyler, I will probably talk a long while on the old Thunderbolts, but I'll give you your chance. Start us off. What'd you think about Thunderbolts? I saw you enjoyed it. Give me your thoughts.
Yeah, I think we'll spend most of our time in the spoiler section kind of going through the movie beat by beat, but high level non-spoiler thoughts. I had a good time with this movie. I liked it. I thought it was a very strong MCU entrant, especially compared to what we've been getting for most of the past 2 to 3 years. But yeah, I thought this film looks great. I think everyone has obviously saw the behind the scenes of Florence Pugh actually doing the jump in person, and a lot of people theorizing that comes directly from the Black Widow memification of her very CGI fall, and it's kind of her actually want to take these movies seriously, which is cool to see because she really wanted to make this. You could clearly tell she wanted to make this thing special. I tend to like Black Widow more than most people, but you can tell she was trying to rectify some of the issues a lot of people have with that movie. But I think the best thing Thunderbolts does is makes me care about all these characters who are just afterthoughts. Like, none of these characters are people who in the previous shows and movies that they're in are usually your first or second character, or even your third that you're talking about, caring about, going to the theater or turning on a Disney Plus show to watch and see. But yet it makes you care about all these people and actually care about what's in their mind and what's going on. But it's a movie about reconnecting with your purpose, finding yourself, mental health, confronting your past. finding community and relying on people and a group to help you get through things and get through hard times. So felt very singular and different than a lot of MCU movies we've seen, which makes me a little cautiously optimistic or cautiously worried as well. Cause I'm like, I just don't see any MCU movie that's going to come out is going to be like similar to tone in this, because it just felt so unique in that sense. But yeah, no, I most stuff we'll talk about will be in the spoiler section. That is a very good movie. I think the thing I love about it, again, being that makes you care about characters who are kind of like third tier characters, but I think that's also one of the negatives of like the first third of this movie is I think because they're third tier characters, they're kind of like, all right, in the writing room, they're like probably 90% of people watching this have no clue who these people are, like didn't watch, the Captain America TV show, Falcon and Winter Soldier, didn't watch, Black Widow when it came out based on the box office. So it's just like really explain an exposition dump who all these people are again for the audience, just so everyone's caught up. But other than that, like there's a lot I really liked about it. I could see it even going up to like a 4-star and rewatch when it comes out on streaming or whatever. But yeah, had a good time with Thunderbolts. MCU maybe back ? We'll see. Fantastic Four is a real opportunity to really build on this momentum. But yeah, great time with Thunderbolts, and I'm excited to talk about it more with you. And the score is great. The score is awesome as well.
The score is really awesome. Like one of those that you don't expect. I didn't expect, I should say. Like it's not something I was thinking about going in and watching it. Yeah, the score is really great, especially when they're down in the kill trap, as the synopsis reads. Like the score of combining like 6 or 7 different scores, like really is awesome. I loved it as of now, and we saw after Deadpool and Wolverine, like I rated that very high originally, and then went back to it, and it does not hold up nearly on rewatch. I don't necessarily see this one doing that, but as of now, I have it at a 88 out of 100, a 4.5 out of 5. It's my 6th highest. It's my 7th highest MCU movie of all time. Wow. So of the 36, 37, whatever number we're at now. This is my number 7. I loved it. I cried twice, shed a tear during this thing. I think it really makes you invested in these characters. And I think it does, of all the MCU projects we've seen they have to over explain things. I think this far and away does it the best. Of like, you have to give the slight backstory on John Walker for those that didn't watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which, by the way, we said during Brave New World should have been just Captain America 4. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, looking back on that thing, gets way too bad of a rap compared to Brave New World. You have to obviously know Ant-Man 2, which was, at the height of Marvel. So I'm sure most people saw it, but frankly, that movie stinks, and Ghost is a non-factor in that thing and just kind of useless. You obviously have to know Black Widow show. You don't necessarily need to watch Hawkeye, but you get a little bit more Florence Pugh in the Hawkeye show. But yeah, you need to watch other things in order to see this. But I think to the least amount of in the Marvel universe, I think it does the best job explaining it. I think everyone obviously knows Bucky. I like that, they have this band of misfits, new characters that have been in other projects, but no one really cares about or loves just yet. And then they put them in with a beloved character in Sebastian Stan's James Buchanan Barnes, Bucky, the Winter Soldier, whatever we want to call him. But yeah, I think they all intertwine really well. The team works super well together, in my opinion. I think this thing flew by. The 2-hour runtime is super short. By the way, unnamed pirating website has the first hour and a half of this movie on there, and that's it. Because frankly, I didn't go to watch the movie, but I went to watch one scene that we'll get into just to feel again. Towards the end of the movie, and it wasn't on there. I was like, man, I didn't think this movie was an hour and a half. And I'm scrolling and they get just to
I wasn't going to bring it up, but like, let's see on, because those usually like Marvel movies usually get up on that unnamed website
up on there
quick. So like I checked on like Wednesday it was on there, and I was going to text a group. I was like, I didn't know this movie was 90 minutes, and I was going to watch, and then I was like, no, this movie's only 2 hours. I was like, all right, yeah, this isn't. We're going to the theater for this one, but I did see that. So yeah,
I've never seen that before on unnamed website.
Yeah. I wonder if he got his full payment from whatever the WinStar gambling ad or whatever for like his camera dying at the 90-minute mark or whatever happened.
Yeah, hilarious little pirating lore there. So don't watch it there. Go to the theater. Go see this thing in the theater. But yeah, man, it just super emotional. Like you said, it's very different from anything Marvel has done. It's way less, like, there's action for sure, but it's way more character driven, story driven, emotion driven, and I think that's the switch up that Marvel needs right now. Just not a generic Marvel story and not a generic Marvel movie. Like, yeah, it has its beats that every Marvel movie is going to have, of course, but I think what it does with those is it really works. We'll get into it, but Yelena, I think, is far and away the best character in this. I don't think anyone would argue. She is clearly the main character, but I think every character is given their due diligence, except probably Ghost. Again, Ghost is kind of sidelined pretty heavy.
I mean, there's another character that doesn't really.
Well, but I don't think anyone was too worried about that. Definitely that. Ghost is, I think Ghost could have used one more impactful scene, and because of how quickly paced this movie was and how short it felt to me, at least, I think they could have done it in here. We'll talk about how I think they could have, but otherwise, Red Guardian, he's comedic relief, but he gets his moments. John Walker, I think, kind of was the standout in this. Thinking during this movie, I'm like, holy shit, people are gonna want John Walker more than Anthony Mackie's Captain America, and that'll just really suck. But they wrote John Walker super well in this, in my opinion. And they kind of just screwed Anthony Mackie over at Brave New World for some reason. Which it makes me sad to see. But yeah, John Walker was kind of the standout for me in this. Julie Louis-Dreyfus is good. She's fine. As Elizabeth DeFontaine.
She had a big moment with the Rizzler.
Rizzler was at the premiere, dressed as Red Guardian. Some of the most insane, just one of the funniest things. There's no way that the cast had, other than maybe Lewis Pullman, who like did the like Riz face to him or whatever. None of the cast knew who this kid was or why he was coming over to them. I mean, he's like an 8-year-old kid. They definitely thought it was some sort of like charity thing or something. But I love that guy. That's hilarious, man. Good for him. He's living my dream, so good for him. I hadn't even mentioned Lewis Pullman, but I think he does a really good job. For those that do not know, most people do, but this was supposed to be Steven Yeun's character was supposed to play Sentry, but then the movie got delayed due to the writer's strike, and then it was filming at the same time as Mickey 17, which Steven Yeun was already contractually obligated to. So they decided to go with Lewis Pullman. The second time, Lewis Pullman plays a Bob character. If you've seen Top Gun Maverick, so someone DM'd me and I was like, that they very clearly did that on purpose or something. I'm like, no, I think it's just Robert Reynolds, Bob. I think it's just kind of, happenstance. You'd have 2 quarters, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, I guess. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's just kind of weird how that works out. But the second time he's played a character named Bob, but he's really great in this. I think the Void's design is really good. Non-spoiler wise, I think those are my thoughts. I adored this thing, though. I think I'm really, really happy with where Marvel or how Marvel did this. I'm really happy with these characters. It made me, I needed it right now. It made me feel things and made me very happy. So I think that's what we go to the movies for, whether it's Marvel or, non-slop art house film, whatever it may be, big budget project from a studio that's not a franchise, whatever it may be. I think, going to the movies and having a feeling of like, wow, I really cared for that and I really love that. It's why we go to the movies. 2 thumbs up from Cameron Walsh. Any other thoughts, non-spoiler things before we get into it?
No, let's get to spoilers.
Okay, so an 88 out of 100 from myself, 3.5 out of 5 from Tyler, 4.5 out of 5 from myself. But we'll get into spoilers now. Let us know what you thought of Thunderbolts, if you liked it or hated it. Let us know your favorite moments down below, but make sure to put a spoiler tag on if you do. Okay, moving on to spoilers. So the movie opens up with Yelena Belova standing on a building, the second tallest building in the world, right? If I'm not mistaken, it is like she was genuinely there. She was standing on what building is that? Do you know? I should have become more prepared.
It was
it
was the second tallest building. It's the Merdeka 118 in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
Okay, so so she was actually in Malaysia. Florence Pugh had an interview before this, basically saying she begged Kevin Feige to let her do this rather than put it in CGI, saying like it's a big part of the marketing. And it's crazy. Like, actors know what the hell they're talking about sometimes. Like, she's very much right. They heavily went into this in the marketing, and I think it really helped as well. Like, I mean, you mentioned it with Black Widow, and I like Black Widow, but the CGI at the end is real rough, real bad. Like, people take note of that, and people latch onto it, and don't like to see that a ton. But yeah, it's definitely I think it's important that they used a real building here and have her jump off of it, and very cool. So she opens up, she's on top of that building. She basically enters into a unnamed like Ox group laboratory ran by Valentina Allegra de Fontaine, basically where they were testing the Sentry, right? You see in the background these men that have been obliterated, men or women or doctors that have been obliterated by the Sentry. You can see that. So like, this is where he was tested on. They assumed he was dead, which they'll get into later. But basically she blows up the lab. She's kind of covering up for De Fontaine's like stuff, because she's on trial right now for being super shady and doing illegal human experiments, which she is doing, things like that, right? So you see that Florence Pugh's Yelena Belova character is working for De Fontaine, as are the other six Thunderbolts. So basically that's how the movie starts. Very cool scene, cool intro, talking about how she kind of feels empty inside, talking about her mental health, and just kind of feels bored with work, isn't fulfilled with her job, wants to be a hero, right? So after this, she goes to Red Guardian's house to talk to him, because wants to know, like, does he feel fulfilled? Does he feel he's doing everything he can? He lies and says yes, but basically tells her that the way to feel fulfilled is do what her sister did, Scarlett Johansson, Black Widow. Do what her sister did and be a hero is kind of the moral of the story. So that's where it starts off. Yelena calls Val and is like, hey, I want to do something more, want to be more important, want to do more good in the world. And that's where Val says, okay, do this one more thing, and then we'll get you back on the Wheaties box. So they all go to, do you know what the building is? They all go to a very high security building. They all being Yelena, John Walker, Taskmaster, Ghost. Them four go into the building, basically all with the objective. They were all given one of each other to kill. The idea was that they would all kill each other, or Val would kill them with incineration. There they discover, this is in the first 20 minutes, Taskmaster, only one that dies very clearly, very, very much was seen coming. If you've seen the trailers, yeah, she's barely in them. They did like JPEG her into the scene in the Watchtower. At the very least, they kind of tried to hide it, but I also saw a snippet of like her laying on the ground dead in the trailer, but just no one really realized she was dead at the time. So that's funny, but yeah,
going into it, we knew she was dying. Like, everyone was obviously making jokes about it online, but I was still taken aback by like how quickly it was. Like, everyone knew she was going to die, but the fact that it was, 2 minutes, like literally, was surprising me.
Yeah, she gets like a very small fight scene. Honestly, I am shocked had the actress come back. I can't remember the actress's name right now.
The mask opens for like 2 seconds. I wouldn't be surprised if somehow like that the actress just digitally imposed me instead of like come back. But I don't know.
Yeah, Olga Kurilenko came back. Was maybe digitally imposed, but they take off the mask for 3 seconds. She says her only line of the movie is "I'm not here for you," because she's here to. I believe she's there to kill John Walker. John Walker's there to kill Black Widow. Black Widow is there to kill Ghost. Ghost is there to kill Taskmaster. Somehow the four are all there to kill each other. And Ghost is the only one that succeeds in her mission, basically popping up right in front of her and shooting her in the head. And frankly, you would think that the mask would be bulletproof, but it's fine. I'm not going to get into that one. Mm-hmm. It was close combat, maybe not, but so Taskmaster, only one to die. And I think this was, obviously very clear to like put stakes in the movie. But I don't know, when you basically like the elevator scene in the trailer, she's not in, and then all of a sudden she's like digitally imposed into the watchtower in the trailer. She's barely in the trailer other than in that one scene where she gets a little bit of fighting, a little bit of cool action, and then also like 90% of the posters she is off to the side, like half face, barely in the thing. Like you knew she was, but they wanted to add some weight. I think it's good that they killed someone, even if it was hidden really poorly. I think it's good they killed someone to at least impose a little bit of importance to it. And this is where they discover Bob. He kind of pops out of a sleeping chamber or whatever. They being Val was under the impression that he had died in testing, but he pops up. He doesn't know what's going on. He knows his name, but doesn't know how he got there. Doesn't know anything about the Void or about Sentry or anything. And it becomes this very cool, I think, or very good, like back and forth between all of them. John Walker just kind of being an asshole. Just being an asshole to him. Ghost is there just trying to get out. And Yelena's kind of trying to reel everyone in a little bit, already taking that hero step, I should say. So one thing during this all, Val is at like almost a Met Gala, basically, for the events of the first Avengers. Like she's got like Chitauri stuff on display. She's got the original A from the Avengers building on display, like basically a Met Gala for the Avengers. And she wants to kill them all, obviously. Like she has cameras in there, realizes they don't kill each other. So she's like, all right, incinerate them. Gives them a 2-minute timer that is on the wall. That was one thing I was kind of like, well, this feels odd. Feels like you're trying to let them giving them a heads up, like, hey, I'm going to kill you in 2 minutes. But I don't think that by any means like breaks the movie. Just kind of a very silly thing. So obviously in that time they find a way to escape. They shut down a power source that's keeping Ghost locked in there, so that Ghost can get out. And then she does come back and saves the day. But yeah, that was I thought this was all first 30 minutes of the movie. I thought this was really strong. Other than the like silliness of the 2-minute timer to give them time to get out. I thought this opening was really strong. The action was good. The score is really great, as I mentioned earlier, like all 6 of them coming together. Even the Taskmaster death, like I just laughed a little because I was like, yep, there it is. But yeah, I thought this part was really strong. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree with what you said in the non-spoiler part about this movie. Really does fly by, and I think the first 30 minutes are a testament to that. And the very opening scene of Florence Pugh on the building and jumping off is kind of like immediately, yeah, this is a real movie where this feels different. This feels like a fresh breath of air from what we've been seeing normally. And from her opening monologue, talking about like how empty she feels and the void and the depression, leading into her carrying out that first mission, which I think was really cool foreshadowing. Like we're in spoiler mode at this point, so there's like a really awesome overhead tracking shot of her killing a bunch of just
like
operatives, I guess.
Hallway fight, yeah,
and they're all wearing black, so they all just like lay on the ground looking black, and I feel like that was cool foreshadowing of like that's her. Like it looks exactly like basically when they're all dead laying there in their black uniforms, it looks exactly like the void when it, void, like whatever you see in the trailer where they basically like,
does the void.
Yeah, does. I don't know what to call it. He does the void, makes him into ash, and it looks the same of just like all these black silhouettes on the ground. It's kind of similar to Florence Pugh as she's monologuing Yelena about her mental health and the void she feels. She's kind of doing the same thing of just leaving this wake of just nothingness in her path. But yeah, that was an awesome shot, which then leads right into that mission where she carries out for DeFontaine, which leads into like the court hearing, which then we get the whole them going to the Ox operative headquarters or whatever, or just some building facility, and yeah, it's like DeFontaine kind of complete opposite of her plan happens. She wants them all dead, and instead she gets this team to build camaraderie, and this unlikely set of sidekicks and side heroes becomes a group that bonds and gets out of there in 2 minutes, and then kind of leads us into us learning more about good old Bob.
Yeah, the way they handle his powers is, or him at the start is like when he kind of touches everyone, they go into almost the void of his life, and they like see basically their worst moments or their lowest moments. So for Florence Pugh, you see her as a child killing her friend as like her first mission. You see, I thought it was really great how they did John Walker's. Like you see him just being this like very sad, useless dad, not watching his son, basically reading the news of like the fall of Captain America and how like how he was in the role or just how he did a really shitty job in the role, and then killed a person, basically like smearing the name of Captain America. And like his wife basically pleading to him to like watch the kid, and him saying like, if you want it done this way, you do it. And at the time before this, he'd obviously talked as like, I'm the perfect image. Like clearly Val wanted me to make it out of here. Cause you all were going to kill yourself or kill each other. And I was going to kill you guys and get out of here. He's like, I'm a, perfect soldier. I'm a husband, a father. I'm all of this. And then you very clearly see like when he touches Bob, like he's not that. So you get a lot of good emotional weight from him. I think they very easily should have, maybe not here, maybe later in the movie when they go full void, should have shown this similar thing for Ghost, whatever, she talks about, like, being an experiment as a kid or not being able to live happily as a kid. She talks about that. They originally, I think in the script had an idea for like her to still be taking care of Lawrence Fishburne's character, who now has cancer, who's like a father figure to her. They could have done something there. But just in general, I think, like I said earlier, she kind of gets pushed to the side. I think they needed one of those moments for her a little bit. I think that would have helped her out a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But they obviously make it out of that building. They fight their way through the Ox group's guards. Val tells them to use non-lethals so that we keep Sentry alive, because she needs that project to work. Her basic idea of her, Julie Louis-Dreyfus's main drive in this is like, she's going to make the next Avenger. She's going to make the next God and control them to do what she wants. So she's not all bad. She doesn't want the next Avenger to go around like killing people. She just wants it to be like the person they're going for, the hero on the earth, so that she's kind of always protected. And you get a little bit of her backstory in similar ways when she touches Bob later in the movie, of like seeing her father get killed, and kind of, I think the idea behind it from what I've watched and like videos and stuff is like, she kind of learns that the biggest stick is who has the power. And that's what she wants, is she wants like the biggest stick, right? In the fight. So she's not all bad, but she's obviously not good. They fight their way out of this prison. And where do they go from there? Then they escape, and this is where Red Guardian picks them up, right, in a limo. He was limo driving this entire time, basically not doing anything in this life.
Well, maybe I zoned out. Did you talk about like how like we kind of see Bob like eat a billion bullets and that he's like unkillable and he's like floats in the air and he's like,
yeah, that's fair. Yeah. So while they're escaping, they get out with Bob. He goes back kind of to sacrifice himself almost. And he has a moment as well with Yelena about like how he's like not doing well. He doesn't have a lot of joy. He doesn't have any friends. He doesn't have any family. He's down. He's alone. Kind of mirroring her a little bit of like both being alone, and basically asked like, how do you come back from that, or what do you do? And she's like, push it way down, just push it down. And it's used as a little bit of comedic relief, but basically saying like, just ignore it almost. And then Bob like tries to do a heroic thing of like sacrificing himself. Obviously, though, he's an extremely strong being. I looked up like his power scaling. We'll get into that a little bit. But like a very strong Superman-esque being gets shot. They think he's dead. He stands up and he's clearly not. He starts floating. He goes, super high, and then he passes out. Basically, he passes out from being up there because he has no way to control his powers, or he has no idea exactly what his powers are, or what even he is, because he can't remember basically anytime he uses those powers. So he falls to the ground and passes out. He gets then he gets carted away by Val's group back to New York, back to the Watchtower. And then this is where Red Guardian picks him up. The other three, Ghost, John Walker, and Yelena Belova, picks them up. I think they're in New Mexico. If I can't remember exactly. I think they're in New Mexico, but he basically drives there all night, picks them up. And then they're driving away. Val's group, goons, whatever you want to call them, Ox soldiers, they find the limo. They're coming up on them, and this is like your introduction to Bucky back as the Winter Soldier. So obviously,
Terminator Bucky.
Yeah.
Very Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That is very true. During this movie, Bucky was doing some congressman things. Insane that he's a congressman, but he is in role. So this is kind of set like a year and a half, maybe after Brave New World, because he was campaigning in Brave New World, and in this he served. Val basically makes a mention of like half a term, so he's like a year and a half, year in, whatever. But up until this point, he was doing very congressman things, not the Winter Soldier things. Now he just goes full Winter Soldier. You think he's there to save them because he's blowing up these cars and everything. You think he's there to save them, but in reality, he's there to capture them and then use them against Val in a courtroom, basically. So after he saves them, he uses his old disc shooting thing that he used in Captain America, the Winter Soldier, basically to take out their car, capture them, to use them against Val. That's kind of the next 30 minutes. Thoughts here, Tyler? Anything new?
Yeah, I'd say like the character I care the least about is David Harbour's, the comedic relief he brings to the.
I agree with you a little bit, but I thought he was very funny, so it worked for me. Like, yeah, I genuinely
and that's fair. It was just like that's what most of this was like them have their conversation in the car, which were cute and fine. Would this be when they mentioned the Thunderbolts soccer team?
Yeah, so John Walker is the first one to call themselves Thunderbolts because Yelena mentions she was on a soccer team called the Thunderbolts as a kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you get some cool character moments and cool like continuing to assemble this team together and come closer, and then it really gets interrupted by, of course, like you mentioned, the big convoy coming to take them down, and then you get Bucky Barnes going full Terminator 2 Judgment Day version of Arnold Schwarzenegger, where he's just riding the motorcycle. He has a cool shot with like the shotgun, like a lot of just shots were supposed to mirror image 1-to-1 of Terminator 2, so a lot of cool shots there. So this movie was directed by Jake Schreier, who I didn't know going into it. Like, I didn't know he was the director going into it, but I've seen Paper Towns because I love John Green growing up reading his books. So there's a book adaptation of his, and I think that movie is ass. So that's like the only movie he's known to have directed. So I was like, damn, I don't know. That guy pulled off something that I actually enjoyed watching, but I think part of it comes from the cinematographer, Andrew Droz Palermo, did The Green Knight, did A Ghost Story. So like an actual guy who knows how to shoot movies. I think he probably did a lot of heavy lifting of why this movie looks so great. But a lot of these action sequences look awesome. And like I said, I love the homages to Terminator 2 as well. And yeah, I don't know.
Like
I just
feel like some Beef as well. Did you watch Beef?
Oh, I forget my Letterboxd always has TV shows filtered off. So who the cinematographer of Beef or the director?
It looks like he was director for Beef.
I'm
sure
Schreier.
for some episodes.
Oh yeah, they're taken off if TV filter. Yeah, I see it. Okay, that's better then. But Paper Towns is awful. But yeah, this movie looks great. A lot of fun sequences here, and then the momentum in this movie is just one of the strongest parts. It really just keeps motoring along.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like it's breezing by, or the movie was breezing by up until this moment. So basically, Bucky was going to use them as courtroom, like going to testify against Val. But then he then realizes like what they're telling him is true because he is talking to Val's assistant, played by Geraldine Viswanathan, who I really liked in this. She's Songbird in the comics, but isn't anything Songbird in this. She just has like what I thought was the Mockingjay like logo basically on her necklace, but it's the Songbird logo. But basically they then go to Avengers Tower to take out Fontaine and arrest her, where they they fight Ox goons again. They have like constant good fights throughout to make sure it's a Marvel movie, right? They go up to the top floor. It's very much they're trying to almost like replicate the Avengers, right? With Val is standing behind the original bar. So like so she's in the Avengers Tower, the original Avengers Tower. She's like redoing it, calling it the Watchtower. She keeps like Tony Stark's original bar that he walks behind, and he's like, we have a Hulk. And she kind of has her own moment like that, where basically we have a Sentry is her play. So they try to grab her, and they're not able to because Sentry, she's kind of manipulated Bob to learn his powers, to use his powers. Basically kind of a little bit of mother issues here. Like she's basically like treating him like a baby that she's trying to control. And so he doesn't want to fight them. But who is it that throws the first punch? It's obviously not Yelena. I think it's Red Guardian.
Okay, it was Red Guardian. I don't know why I had Bucky in my head, but I can remember it through the first one.
I can't remember through the first watch. I feel like it was Red Guardian just being dumb. But I could be wrong. So someone in the comments, please let me know. But basically, the Thunderbolts throw the first punch of like, I'm not dealing with this right now, because they don't realize how powerful Bob is, which is kind of stupid because you saw him take 1,000,000 hits and then fly up to the sun and then crash land and still survive. But either way, they're not thinking. They try to take him out, and so Bob does like beat the shit out of him. This is like, in my opinion, the worst looking fight scene in the movie. It looked a little rubbery. The CGI wasn't perfectly done. I
think it's like his like glitchy movement just looked a little uncanny, I guess, because he kind of like shifts side to side like a really weird and it looked a little odd on screen.
Yeah, and I think I think what it is like also is like he was never getting punched, but he was like getting close to punch, and then he'd like send their arm back is what they were going for almost. Like his telekinetic powers would like keep him away. And like the bullets stopping and throwing Red Guardian out of the wall and then bringing him back. Like it looked a little rubbery. It wasn't perfect by any means. Again, didn't make or break the movie, but it's why the movie's not a 5-star in my opinion. I loved it, but it's not perfect. But they have their fight. They obviously get their ass kicked. Walker gets his shield bent, which is not a vibranium. God, I can't speak. Shield, but is some strong metal. I don't know for sure.
Would Sentry have been able to bend vibranium? I don't know how the power stacking works.
Yes, Sentry would have been able to bend vibranium, but like Bucky's arm is vibranium, and you saw like he didn't have trouble with it by any means, but it's harder to bend, right? Like he like holds his hand, and then like he has power to like basically heat anything up as well. without touching it, or with touching it, he can like basically melt it. He doesn't do that to Bucky's arm, but he rips it off. So yes, he would have been able to bend vibranium. Just like you noticed during the movie, or at least I noticed, like there's a ton of scratches and bullet holes on John Walker's shield. So he's very much not like a vibranium shield. It's not the clean Captain America look, you know? So it's what he's got kind of from Val, basically. They go downstairs and have their, you know, end like third act falling out, basically, of Yelena saying, "You're all losers. We're all losers." Like he throws out an insane diss of like John. She basically says something to John Walker. He's like, "Oh, it's my turn now," and he goes, and she says, "No, John. You know you're a piece of shit, and so does your wife and kid." And I was like, "That's crazy line, crazy thing to throw out there." Like doesn't even like try to go at him necessarily, but basically like says, "You already know you suck." So I thought that was a good line from her. So yeah, she storms off. Before you get to like the emotional comeback, you basically see Bob, Valentina again trying to control him. And Valentina's trying to control him, and he's like, "Why would a god need to listen to a person?" And she's like, "You're not a god." And he says, "But I am. You explain that I'm stronger than every Avenger combined, which does include a god. So I'm basically a god. Why would I listen to you?" And then he kind of has his moment of like, "I don't want to listen to you." He basically tries choking her. They have a kill switch put in his brain that does not work. She activates it. Doesn't work. And then that's the next 30 minutes. So again, I'll take a pause. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this 30-minute section?
Yeah, I think it was funny how Bob quickly goes to the god mode real fast. He's immediately like, "I'm a god, and I'm just gonna turn real quick." But I think it makes sense based on like the mental health struggles and the internal challenges he's been having throughout this movie that he'd be able to kind of flip back and forth so quickly like that. But no, yeah, good stuff. Like recreating the Avengers kind of magic, and I mean, obviously, we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, in like the post credit towards the end of the movie. But cool mirroring of Avengers Tower versus the Watchtower. And yeah, you get the fight, which was fine. It wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen from Marvel. It wasn't the best thing. And you get the classic, like, you know, story beats they need, the falling out of the team, of the complicating incident of them getting mad at each other and ripping into each other before they have to band together once again, just like they did at the beginning when they had to save themselves from DeFontaine. They have to do it again, obviously, here to stop, you know, the Sentry turning into the Void. So yeah, I mean, it's fine. This is just like pretty formulaic stuff in terms of what they need to kind of like set off this final act. And yeah, it's whatever. It's not great, not bad. It's just whatever. But I think Florence Pugh's acting is the one through line that she's so great in this, when she's just ripping into people. Like she's just able to be such a chameleon in her performances, whether it's a horror film, a dramatic film, a superhero film, she's always going to give it her all. And I just feel like this whole movie from beginning to end was just Florence Pugh really, you could tell she actually cared about this and put a lot of effort into it, which we don't see much from people in superhero movies actually caring. So, but yeah, Bob turns God real fast and really turns real quick onto Fontaine. And just, yeah, this whole kind of purpose of the scene is just getting us ready for this, you know, big bad final battle.
Because basically, right, she's like, "Go kill them," and he goes, "Well, they're not a threat to me, and they're running away. Why would I go kill them?" And she's like, "Well, because I told you." And it works well. Of like, basically, she was using him as like, she's the only, up until then, Yelena and her are basically the only people who have ever told him like, he's good, he's great, he's invincible. They do use invincible a lot, and Alex Coleman and I were talking about this. It's funny because it was going to be Steven Yeun, and they call him invincible like 6 times during this movie. But basically, yeah, she just uses him to obviously do her wrongdoings, right? And then her plan was like, the press is going to come and see this new superhero taking out these criminals or these anti-heroes, whatever you want to call them. And he's like, "Well, I don't need to kill them. They're running away and they're not a threat to me in any way. So why would I do that?" After they activate the kill switch, like, she thinks he's dead. They kind of run away. And then this is where like the Void comes out, right? So from the comics, the Void and Sentry are like, this is ripped out of the comics, of like, they do have dual personalities. The Sentry is like one of the most strong beings in the comics, but the Void is equally as strong. And then like basically in the Void area that they go to, which we'll talk, like in his Void realm, he's far and away the most strong person in that realm. And he can send anyone there. I've seen things of like power scaling, like he's a little bit stronger than Superman. He's like the Superman of Marvel, basically, but he's not to a celestial or not to like an eternal. He is to an eternal, but not to a celestial. Wouldn't be able to take out like Galactus kind of thing. Like he's not to that power, but he's up there. I've seen like stories of like he gets almost beat by like World Breaker Hulk, which to me was just like, wow, they haven't done a service to the Hulk character.
Is that something from like a comic, a World Breaker?
Yeah, Hulk? So it's like the ultimate power, the ultimate like Hulk power. And I'm like, just in like the MCU, they have not done a Hulk service because I feel like he's not nearly to that point in anything we see him in. But obviously, like I think the strongest we see of the Hulk is in Thor Ragnarok. When he's like contained as the Hulk for however many years. But even then, like he's getting beat by or nearly beat by Thor. I think this character is supposed to be much stronger than Thor Sentry, that is. So that's kind of like the power scaling, like basically Superman of the MCU. But he has the issue of, right, he needs to know what he's doing. So he needs to like understand his powers more than like say Superman would be able to. Like he needs to fully understand them to be able to use them. And then also he has the other personality of the Void, which obviously would like hold him back, as they mentioned in the post-credit scene. And so like that, I'm guessing the idea with him is always, if you're going to beat it, like he'll be powerful, but you're going to beat him from like mental standpoint. Like you're going to, make him hate himself and go to the Void or whatever it is. Right. So that will kind of always be how you take him down. I'm sure they'll like depower him a little bit, because I don't think, like from what I've seen, Dr. Doom is on that level. And I'm not a super thorough comic book reader. I'm sure there are versions, but I don't think Dr. Doom is like on that level. So the idea is maybe he beats him like by like calling him a piece of shit or something. I don't know. We'll obviously see that in a year. After he becomes the Void, you cut back to Yelena kind of running off, and Red Guardian chasing after her, Alexei chasing after her, and she's crying and basically like saying, this isn't who I am. You're not my father. If you were, you would have like seen me in the last year. You've been avoiding me for a year. And he's like, well, I wanted to give you a space. And so this is where I say, like, Ghost and Alexei are the only two, and Bucky. But I think Bucky, you have plenty of characterization with Bucky, to the point, like, you don't need any flashbacks of his time, like killing Tony Stark's parents or whatever it is. Like, you've seen that. I think everyone, whether you've watched Marvel or not, Bucky at this point, because you've watched Avengers Endgame, Civil War, those kind of movies, right? So he's kind of off to the side. The only two that don't get like an emotional backstory necessarily are Red Guardian and Ghost. And I think it works for Red Guardian because he's like the comedic relief. He's cracking jokes. But also he has this moment with Florence Pugh, where she's crying, and she says the line, "Daddy, I'm so alone. I go home. I'm going off memory here, but she's like, I go home. I think about what kind of piece of shit I am, and I'm alone. I go to work. I drink. I think about what kind of piece of shit I am, and I'm all alone." And like basically that kind of line. And he consoles her and is like, basically talks about the picture he has in his house of her on the Thunderbolts, saying, "Do you want to know why you were a goalie? Because you wanted everyone to depend on you. You wanted to be that person," kind of thing. And like has this emotional moment with her where I think it works really well. First off, Florence Pugh is just a really great actress, right? So when she's putting it on, she's putting it on. And again, David Harbour, good actor, doesn't need to, he's not bawling or anything necessarily in this, but like he does his job and gets you through this emotional moment. This is a moment I cried. Like I shed a tear here. I think it was really well done. Works really well. They have their almost emotional reconciliation, right? Basically tells her she has so many things, all of that, right? And then you see the Void over New York. You see him kind of taking out people, which we'll call this the next 15 minutes. Any comments on that moment or the Void's transition?
Yeah, great emotional work. And I think, I don't know how strong it would have been if it wasn't Florence Pugh just absolutely just
I agree.
Bodying all of her line deliveries. Yeah.
This is not by any means like how highbrow mental health conversation. It is very on the nose. Like it's very clearly about mental health and about depression, about male loneliness and loneliness in general. Like it's very much on the nose, but it works super well because Florence Pugh is really, really great. Like
Florence Pugh sells the hell out of it. And also it's like, at the end of the day, like these movies are catered towards younger audiences. So I'm fine with them, spelling it out clear as day. I think, we saw that with the Spider-Verse short. It's like having these for people that are young kids, is great stuff. Like to get them introduced to it, knowing that, we'll really talk about this in the final scene of like how important it is to like ask for help, rely on others. People are there to support you and help you overcome your demons, which we'll kind of get to in a minute. But in terms of this part, I think Florence Pugh really saves this scene from being maybe something that comes off a little corny, cheesy, but she's exactly. But she's so great in it that it makes it great. And then it's like you said. I think because Red Guardian is such a comedic relief character that we don't care about a whole lot. It's like we don't need him to have his own emotional beats and emotional moments. I think it's just a perfect amount of Alexei here of him getting to have his emotional moment through his conversation with Florence Pugh, Yelena. But let me get to the Void, who starts murking people, and including helicopter pilots who then crash their helicopter. Craziness.
Yeah, so we've seen it in the trailers, right? He basically makes everyone disappear. They modeled it after like Hiroshima bomb victims, unfortunately, but like that's kind of like the reality of it. Of like if this character we're going through, people had their issues with the directors saying that and the designers saying that. Like, I think it's worth that they were trying to do something like artistic with it rather than just like, make a joke of it by any means. Like they were trying to do something deep and impactful, but basically they all become like almost shadows on the ground. Here's the thing. It looks gray, but it's meant to be gray because he's taken all the joy out of the world and the life out of the sky, basically. Like that's awesome. Cause I was like, it's gray, but it's meant to be this gray. Yeah. But you get like your moments of the Thunderbolts saving people. There's a line like earlier in the movie of like, we could be those people that save them. So they all get their moments. Like I really think what they did was awesome. They all use their strengths. Obviously they save one person, like all five of them save one person all five of them save one person from like a falling side of a building, whatever it is. Like they have their team moments, right?
John Walker still got that bent ass shield and still going strong.
John Walker still has that bent ass shield. We'll talk about that too, because John Walker keeps that bent ass shield for some reason. But yeah, they all have their time, like basically. And then you get the moment where Alexei, like a falling brick from a building is about to hit a child. Alexei saves him, has his moment of what he wants is to be a hero, and to feel like he felt when he was in Russia as the Red Guardian. He has his moment, and then the girl disappears, basically. Don't know how, like he doesn't, like I don't fully understand the power of the Void there, but the girl disappears and turns into that like black spot on the side of the road of a dead person almost. And then they're running away. Everyone's trying to get inside, trying to run away from this Void. And Yelena turns around and I think, she kind of realizes like he was in her flashbacks. Like he could see her, or she could see him in her flashbacks, maybe realizes like he's not killing these people. He's, going into their minds or whatever she thinks, but she walks into it, and then goes back to her, that flashback we saw earlier of her having someone kill her friend. And she's basically looking for Bob in there. She goes through a couple different shitty moments of her life where one, they're like her and the Black Widow group are building guns. She finishes assembling hers first. All of the other girls, like 8-year-old girls or whatever they are, get whipped. That's like a low point in her life. And then the next is basically her drunk, laying on the bathroom floor, just kind of hating herself. Kind of what she was mentioning earlier, right? To Lexi, where she goes home, she drinks, she thinks about all the bad she's done, she hates herself, she goes to work, she rinse, repeat. And this is kind of that scene. I think this is where I mentioned earlier, I think they could have done one of these scenes. You've already seen John Walker's like scene that he would have gone to. I think I don't think you need Red Guardian because you get the emotional payoff during the conversation. You obviously don't need Bucky, and they brush by Bucky's with, oh, I've got a great past, so I'm fine, which is like good comedic relief of him basically going through hell. But you also have his emotional journey in The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So like you see that. I think they needed a ghost one here. Like just do a 2, 3, 4 minute scene of her like childhood and her seeing that. Because once Yelena finds Bob, you go back to the New York and you see the Thunderbolts talking of like, why would she do that? Red Guardian's in distraught, right? But then John Walker's like, I saw something. I think maybe she like did that on purpose. They all go into the void, but then when Yelena is consoling Bob, you see his father being an asshole and abusing his wife and him as a kid. Like you see that. So that's Bob's like hell from that he's seeing. And he's like talking about, he's in the attic basically saying this is the only room that's a little quiet. They have their emotional reconciliation. And then all of the other 4 Thunderbolts pop up. I think you needed maybe just a ghost scene here to give her that weight. I think she, again, it's not make or break in the movie. This is just what takes it maybe from a 5-star, in my opinion, to a 4. What are your thoughts up to this moment?
No, you're spot on with Ghost, because as I mentioned in my review, like before this, of how the best thing this movie does is make you care about characters you previously haven't cared as much about, or if you do care about them, they're not like your first or second person you're caring about in that movie or show that they're in. But Ghost, like, you know, if Ghost dies in the first scene of what, I mean, it's not going to be Fantastic Four, but only saying Fantastic Four because that's the next movie. But if Ghost dies in the first scene of the next movie that Ghost is in, like, I just won't care, because this movie, like, this movie made me care a lot more about everyone else. But like, it didn't move the needle for me on Ghost at all. And I think you're right. They had opportunities, and I think, you know, writing wise, Florence Pugh is clearly, to me, the best actor or actress of the group. So it's like, I think it's probably for the best, you know, movie and story wise. Like if you're going to rely most emotional beats on her, probably going to be a stronger movie because of it. But you know, like we've seen Ghost in stuff before, that actress, Game of Thrones, other things. It's like,
she's in Black Mirror allegedly. I haven't seen that, but
yeah, maybe it is funny enough, she's in Black Mirror in the episode with John Walker in Black Mirror. Those two are together in that episode. One of my favorite episodes, Playtest. But yeah, I think we could use more Ghost to care about her. But then in terms of the scene itself, again, like you said this, mental health commentary is very on the nose, very like elementary. Like it's very much, you know, face your deepest, darkest moments, you know, you reach out for help.
Don't push it down.
Yeah.
Reach out for help.
Yeah. People can band together, give you strength when you don't have it. You know, this is very, you know, not the deepest stuff, but it's like impactful. It works. I'm never expecting Marvel to even ever get this deep about it, the stuff. So it's like, I'm not going to say, well, you're not going deeper or deep enough, because I think it does exactly what it needs to do for the movie and it works well. But again, just basically reiterating that, yeah, this isn't like the greatest mental health writing or most, you know, thoughtful stuff I've ever seen, but it's like very sentimental and works, very human. And it's just the themes of them banding together to overcome this. And especially like, you know, the visual of Yelena walking into the void and like taking on her own demons and saying there's the only way to defeat it is by facing it head on. You know, it's all great stuff. Even if on the nose, it all worked for me. And I thought it was just really cool way to kind of overcome this, which we saw in the trailers of like, basically everyone's saying like you see this in the trailer and you're like, how the hell is this group of Thunderbolts going to stop this guy who
punch that guy?
Yeah. How are they going to stop this dude like literally evaporating or incinerating, eviscerating every single person in his wake? And you know, as the movie goes on, you kind of quickly understand like a little bit where it's going, how it is like from the very opening scene, you know, it's very much a mental health movie. And when Yelena literally mentions the word, the void, like two seconds into the movie, you're like, okay, I can probably see where they're going to end up going with this, especially once you see that Bob struggles with his mental health and he has this Sentry version of the Void. But yeah, I think it's again, I don't think it's the most incredible way to ever write a mental health story, but I think it's very effective for what this movie's going for, and I think the characters sell it well, except for Ghosts, and I think it's ultimately kind of a cool way of how they have to get Bob to face his own demons in order to save the day, I guess, at the end of the day.
Yeah. So they're in the attic, so then they kind of run through Bob's lowest moments that he's been through, basically to try to get out, right? To try to find the Void and get out. So they're basically in his head. They go through again, his father was abusive to his mom and to him. And then they go through what's kind of like trying to be like a funny moment, but basically he's a chicken man for a chicken restaurant. He spins a sign. He's high on meth. Like he was a drug addict. He really struggled with that. He mentions like he just didn't know what to do, so he turned to drugs. And so like they use it a little bit as comedic relief because they're fighting a chicken, right? But you see like he's very clearly on drugs and not happy in this time. And then they go to what his lowest point is basically right after he becomes the Void and eviscerates those first doctors in there. Like that's what he says is his lowest point. And that's where the Void is sitting there and is basically gives a speech about how you'll always be alone. Nobody wants you. You're nothing. That sort of thing. The Void very quickly takes that, basically puts all of the Thunderbolts up against a wall, right? Locking them in, like stabs John Walker, contains Red Guardian and Yelena with a chair or something, and then similar for Bucky. And then basically Lewis Pullman's Bob goes and fights the Void, trying to beat him. And then he himself starts turning to the Void because the idea you don't fight depression with more depression or just with more anger and more frustration. That's not going to help you get through it. They all break out at this is exactly what the Void wants. By the way, the Void's design, I mentioned it earlier, but I really loved the fully dark, black hole of a person basically. And then with the two eyes glowing, I think it really, really was awesome. So he's turning into the Void. They save the day by breaking out and hugging him and being there for him. And it's really freaking stupid to, say, but I think it really worked. It really helped end this movie off with not big action CGI fight scene of them all fighting a black hole. Sometimes they do it where if you go into the telekinetics mind, then you can all fight them. You're all on the same power scale. I thought they'd maybe do something like that. But they basically, as Bob is turning into the Void because he's just dropping to the Void's level and dropping to his lowest point, they save him by quite literally hugging him and being there for him. And I saw, reviews saying that's stupid and they won by friendship and they won by fighting him. Sometimes, in my opinion, sometimes that's cool. Sometimes, it's a comic book movie. I don't need, this thing to end in the most depressing way. I need this thing to end in, if you have family and you have friends that are there for you, or if you have people to rely on, you can get through anything. And you can make it through. And there are times where, by no means, and I mentioned taking time off to be with my family. There are times you get in a dark place and you get really down and you don't feel like there's much light at the end of the tunnel per se. But your family can be there for you. And the people that you love will be there for you. And no one's truly alone, no matter if you feel that you're alone. It's fairly often you have someone there that can help. And so they kind of, they save him by pulling him out and showing him love. They basically pull the Bob, the Sentry, out from the Void. And it really works. it really worked for me. I don't know your thoughts on it, if it was stupid, or let me know. But
no, I think I pretty much kind of covered in like the last segment. I kind of jumped ahead just talking about how I think it works. Like I said, it might not be the most clever thing in the world.
Not the most highbrow by any means.
Yeah, but I think it works for what the movie's trying to do, and I like it. And I think it is this whole movie is a breath of fresh air, but especially the ending, how, like you mentioned, it's not, I mean, there is a battle, but it's not this big bad battle that we're typically used to seeing. It's more human than, just a big chaotic action sequence.
Yep. It's not like Black Panther is like the first 80, or Wakanda Forever, I should say specifically, is like the first 80% is like human and like emotional weight of dealing with Chadwick Boseman, and then it ends with CGI battle, and like it just doesn't work. And this like goes full through, like, yes, I got CGI battle in there, but like I think the true final ending really works. They get pulled out. Everyone comes out of the void. New York is restored. They see Val on the phone. They go to arrest her. Or Red Guardian says he's going to kill her. But they walk through, and she's got a press conference. They're ready. And it's like, these are the people who saved New York. The new Avengers, or I don't remember if she specifically says new Avengers or if she says Avengers. I think she says new Avengers.
Yeah, she says the new Avengers.
Bob doesn't remember any of this. He's like, yeah, cheering. He's pumped up. I thought that was funny. Like in the background, Luce Pullman just going ham. And then Yelena basically tells Val that we own you now, because as soon as like they want to, they could like pull the rug out from Val immediately. Interesting way to end it, right? Rather than just arresting Val immediately, like they keep Julia Louis-Dreyfus is a great actress. Everyone loves her, obviously. So you keep her in the back pocket of like, you can use her whenever now. So that it's pulling away, and that's the end of the movie. Bob has no recollection of what exactly happened. Everyone's saved. The cuts to black and says the new Avengers. So I think everyone pretty much saw this coming, right? With the Thunderbolts asterisks, everyone was relatively aware it would be an Avengers or a Dark Avengers or whatever they wanted to call it movie. But it's fun. I think that's a fun, like, you don't see that in movies often where they like have a fake title. I don't know. It works. It's basically what they did with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. They call it Captain America and the Winter Soldier in the last episode. But yeah, I enjoyed this. So getting into the post-credit scenes. First one is just like comedic post-credit scene. Red Guardian finally gets on the Wheaties box. They get on the Wheaties box. He's in a supermarket trying to like sell them off to people as so that they love him. Basically, he's obviously looking for love and joy. Basically, the second post credit scene is the big one. Got spoiled for me on Twitter like day after the premiere. It happens. I'm not personally pressed about it. Like I don't really care, and I have full capability of not watching the entire thing, but I do every time. So that's on me. But I still enjoyed seeing it in theater. Basically, they're talking about how they're the new Avengers, and ties into Captain America: Brave New World a bit. Sam Wilson is trying to create his own Avengers. Super weird. They basically say like Sam and Bucky aren't speaking anymore. Super weird. Like they didn't have a falling out in Brave New World or anything. So
I guess a year and a half or whatever passes, but yeah, it's weird because they seem very sentimental towards each other in that movie, and then that's obviously the last Marvel thing we saw before this. So then all of a sudden it's like, oh, they're like not they are not friends now. What happened there?
Yeah, it's weird. But so they have like the funny jokes of like Red Guardians making it Avengers with a Z. Sam Wilson trademarked Avengers, which that's funny. I'm sure if a superhero team were in the world, they would try to trademark it. So they're trademarking the Avengers, whatever. And then they basically talk about how there's a space crisis going on. So what that is, I'm pretty sure, is like all the incursions, like they mentioned in Doctor Strange, of like worlds being destroyed. And then they just don't do anything with that. Multiverse of Madness was like 3 years ago. They haven't really done anything with it. But then also the Marvels, Monica Rambeau, I think it is, like travels through a gap into a different dimension. Like, so that's kind of the general idea. And then I'm sure also we'll see a lot more about it in the Fantastic Four. Super odd to spoil the Fantastic Four. So maybe it doesn't spoil it for Tyler. You tell me. Okay, so they see the Fantastic Four ship coming to Earth. Does that spoil for you the Fantastic Four in any way?
Well, we're in the spoiler section, but extra spoilers if you don't want our thought. I mean, to me, I don't know. Isn't it basically saying that Fantastic Four movie is going to be a failure and they're going to need to, like, they're losing their battle. They're going to have to come.
Yeah. So what it is Fantastic Four is not set on our Earth. So it's very clear that their Earth gets destroyed or gets eaten by Galactus or something, and they have to come to our Earth. They come through, so that's very super odd. I understand it gets people excited. Like my theater went crazy, which, by the way, my theater was laughing. They were enjoying this thing. I'm not kidding. I tweeted it, but I'm not kidding. Like, someone yelled, "We are so back," after the end of this post-credit scene. And I was like, hell yeah, man, we are back. So it gets people pumped. And I don't think, like, maybe the generic normal, like, movie fan necessarily knows that Fantastic Four is not set on Earth or our Earth. Maybe they think, like, this is the Fantastic Four coming to our Earth, and then that movie is on our Earth 616 or whatever Earth we are on. But it's just it's just a little odd.
Marvel a little loosey goosey with spoilers these days. They used to be locked down, but with the post credit scene, just really, it seems like it kind of tells you the foregone conclusion of the Fantastic Four movie. And then I don't know if you saw Robert Downey Jr.'s Instagram post, but like
saying the new or the old Avengers.
Well, no, like, basically. And then at the end, it was like, congrats to the new Avengers and Bob, and that came out Friday morning. So it's like, gave people Friday. If you follow Robert Downey Jr. on Twitter, you basically had 12 hours to see Thunderbolts before he kind of is like, congrats to the new Avengers and Bob. And it's like, oh, come on, Marvel, you used to be like so lock and key with this stuff, and now people are just loosey goosey, just saying things left and right, and you don't even care. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I think overall very good movie. I think could go up on rewatch. I enjoyed how much of a breath of fresh air it felt like. I think it looks good visually. I think they clearly went more for as much practical as they could. Love the group of actors for the most part. I think, like I said, David Harbour, he doesn't move the needle for me. Ghost didn't do much for me, but like, I really like Lewis Pullman. Florence Pugh is fantastic. And it's shows that Marvel, which I feel like they've lost in the past few years, like, they can make a movie that's still very human driven while still huge ramifications of the MCU, moving the universe forward in a big way at the same time. So they did both exceptionally well, which is a rare breed that they're able to pull off lately. Good stuff.
And worth noting, Thunderbolts is the third highest rated. I don't think it. So, okay, I'm looking now. It's got 88% on Rotten Tomatoes now. But so I don't know where it stacks now. But for a while, it was there were 3 Marvel movies that had a 90% or higher: Captain America, Winter Soldier, Civil War, and then Thunderbolts. So the people yearn for Bucky. But it's not that anymore. But either way, like, it was doing very well with reviews. I'm sure it'll make good money. I think it's doing well at the box office right now. I can look it up, but it's Saturday when we're recording this, so we won't have much information. But from here, outlook into Marvel. So Seth can come back now if you want to text him. But outlook into Marvel. The only 4 movies on the slate that are confirmed are Fantastic Four coming out this year, Doomsday and Secret Wars coming out in the next 2 years, and then in between those are Spider-Man Brand New Day. I feel like this is the shortest outlook for Marvel that we've had in a long while. And like, also, it's just, if you think about it, it's Fantastic Four this year, Doomsday in about a year from now, May 2026. I'm sure we'll get Brand New Day after that. And then a year from that is Secret Wars. It's just, this feels like weird territory. I think we have like an Ironheart TV show coming out sometime soon, but I believe, and then Marvel Zombies. But again, that's rare. That's barely connected to this at all. It's just it's interesting to see. Like, all we've got are the big ones. So we'll see exactly where they want to go, and then also Marvel's Spider-Man, you're on fraud watch. New York I know you didn't watch Daredevil, but currently New York is in what's the state of like oh god.
State of emergency? I don't know.
Not state of emergency, it's martial law. They're in a state of martial law right now. Kingpin's rule governing of New York is in martial law, and the Void is flying over New York, just taking it down. You're on fraud wash, Mr. Peter Parker. Where you at? Get your ass out of your chair. Stop moping. You know he was in that Void seeing his uncle get shot or something. But are we moving on to the collaborative ranking now?
Yeah, once Seth gets back, we will go into the collaborative ranking. But Seth has done one of these before, so I'll explain it to you. Unless you wanted to go, what did you have? You were going to go through some stuff?
Let's end with the Marvel collaborative ranking. Let's jump to some trailers. Let's go movie news, and then we'll end with the ranking. Just to end with the fun game, I guess. But so latest trailers for this week. Hey, it's trailer time. Haven't done that in a bit, but Now You See Me. Oh, of course, Seth's back. But Now You See Me, Now You Don't got a trailer starring the original cast of the Now You See Me crew is back, and then also adds Ariana Greenblatt, the Holdovers star,
Dominic
Sessa. Thank you. Who George just said is like picking very highbrow projects. Now You See Me 3 included, and then also Justice Smith, right? Are the 3 new entrances. What's your opinion on the Now You See Me franchise, fellas?
Haven't seen any of them. They look shit. I'm not going to watch them. They look like my opposite sort of thing. They're so awesome.
No, they all stink, but I'll watch them all and have a good time with them.
Yeah, the first one I think is actually like fun and good. The second one stinks, but it's still got fun, silly magic going on. So I'm all for it. I love this franchise though. This is my like Super Bowl. They have that cool, fun card scene where they're flipping it around in the second one, and
that's a great scene. That's like the classic Twitter scene.
Yeah, that is the classic Twitter scene. Also just so silly, but hilarious. I'm amped for Now You See Me, Now You Don't. I'll be there day one. I love that so in the second movie they lose Isla Fisher and replace her with I can't remember the actress. I can't remember the actress they replaced her with. Glad to see Isla Fisher back. She's good. They got James Franco, Woody Harrelson, and then Jesse Eisenberg. Fun cast, fun group.
I didn't realize how big these films were. They get crazy engagement online as well.
I mean, it's like the casts are insane, but it's like
that's true. But it doesn't always. Casts don't always
Yeah, that's true. But no, they're just fun blockbuster popcorn movies, and we almost lost Isla Fisher in the first one, like. Actually, Isla Fisher, because that's also a big Twitter thing that makes the rounds all the time of her like almost dying, drowning, doing the stunt. So yeah.
Isla Fisher's Scooby Doo. Yeah.
Yes, she is. Okay. She is in Scooby Doo. She's the blonde that like Shaggy,
the scary face thing.
Yeah.
I didn't mean literally Scooby Doo, by the way.
Yeah. No, I knew what you meant. Spooky Island, Scooby Doo.
Yeah, that's the.
Next up, we got a trailer for Benny Safdie's The Smashing Machine, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Emily Blunt. New wrestling movie or UFC movie from A24. Thoughts and opinions on The Smashing Machine?
I think it looks really good. I said on Twitter the other day, I'm very, very, very confident in Dwayne Johnson being really good in this role. If you actually search Mark Kerr when he was around the age that he's presented in this, they look like the prosthetics.
They do some great prosthetics in Dwayne Johnson because I feel like he does not look like this.
No,
like
he doesn't.
He does not look like himself.
What they've done with the prosthetics is like insane. I think he has the charisma. I think he has the athleticism. I think this is going to be really good. Benny Safdie. It does look a little bit. I saw some people tweeting it. It looks a bit like straightforward. I actually don't anticipate it being so. I probably anticipate it being a bit more erratic. I'm excited. We get to obviously find out who the better Safdie is and who the carrier is. Same with like the Coens, for example. And I anticipate it'll probably be Benny. It looks really, really cool. I'm really excited for it. Mark, really good story. The actual fight sequences look great as well. In terms of MMA, we don't have many great MMA films. Like Warrior is probably the only one that I really like. It looks really, really good. I'm excited for it. When does it release? Like October, I think.
It is releasing October 3rd, 2025.
Yeah, excited for this. Looks good. Looks really good stuff.
I forgot they're both doing. Is Marty Supreme A24? Yeah, it is. Yeah. I forgot they're both doing an A24 biopic next year. I'm excited for Marty Supreme, so I think I got to go with Josh Safdie. I haven't seen, what was it, Driveway Dolls that they did alone? Is that what
no, that's the Coens.
No, that's the Coens.
That's the Coens doing alone.
Ethan Cohen's the bad Cohen. Joel's a good one.
Okay, fair. They've done something alone though, right? I thought maybe I'm wrong.
No, this is the first time.
No, they've done three films that I think they were all together. I think.
Man, I'm gonna let's make a prediction now. The Smashing Machine or Marty Supreme? I think I got to.
I mean,
Marty
for
Supreme.
me, it's like the Smashing Machine. It's just like what I've got much more interest in general. So I imagine it'll be the Smashing Machine.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more excited for the Smashing Machine, but Marty Supreme, I don't know. It's like I have more confidence. I have like 7,000 times more confidence in Timothy Chalamet than I do Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Even though I do think The Rock will be good in it, but he has no reason. He's never done anything. The Rock's best performance is worse than Timothy Chalamet's worst performance.
I don't even know what Timothy Chalamet's worst performance is.
For me, probably like Beautiful Boy, and that's better than anything The Rock's done.
Yeah, Beautiful Boy.
Yeah. I think this is like I think this is like a perfect entry role for The Rock. Do you know what I mean? In terms of what he'll actually be able to do really well, I think he'll be actually this is like a perfect role.
Yeah,
for
like
him.
He knows this world. I think he can definitely pull some emotion off in this. I don't know this story. I'm sure. I'm hoping it's not the Iron Claw-esque where his entire family just passes. But yeah, I'm excited to learn. I think I'm excited to see the Rock or Dwayne Johnson. Sorry, I know he doesn't like The Rock anymore. I'm excited to see Dwayne Johnson like try. Let's see what happens. You know,
honestly, I'm really confident he'll be good. Like I'm really confident he'll be good.
I'm excited.
I think he's got it in him. I think he's just picks and has picked absolute shit for 2 decades. But I think we'll see the best of him for sure.
All righty. Tyler, any other thoughts on the Smashing Machine?
No, it looks fine. I like what Seth said. I saw those tweets as well of people thinking it looks a little generic, which I agree, and I don't expect that from a Safdie. Either of the Safdie brothers make just a straight up generic film, which same thing with Marty Supreme. That seems super generic on the nose too. So I think both of them will have some differences to it. But yeah, it's like, you know, decently excited. It's definitely not like my top 10 excited for the rest of the year, but I'll see it opening day.
Okay. Next trailer, big one we got this week was Zach Krieger's Weapons. So follow up to Barbarian. Basically, I think it's still set in the same universe, if I'm not mistaken. Basically, all of a children's class go missing at 2:17 a.m. They get out of bed, they go out the front door, and they leave. Kind of a big cast. Josh Brolin is obviously the biggest name, huh?
Julia Garner, we love
Julia Garner, Alden Ehrenreich, Benedict Wong, like kind of a fairly large cast. Julia Garner will definitely be more of a household name after when does this release? But after Fantastic Four with she's playing Silver Surfer. Yeah. So she'll definitely be like a household
will we ever
name
see her like face?
In Silver Surfer? I don't think so.
No, you'll see like her as the Silver Surfer, but I still think people will know her enough from.
I don't know who played the Silver Surfer.
Lawrence Fishburne voiced Silver Surfer. I know that.
I didn't know that.
That's a fair. Like maybe we know.
You just see like the Silver Surfer, you know. So
let's see.
She's a pretty big name now, to be fair.
Yeah, Ozark's definitely would put her on.
Ozark was huge. Ozark was great. I loved Ozark.
It's fair. I've never seen Ozark, so that one's on me. Doug Jones, he does the like hand face guy, right?
Oh no, Doug Jones does like every monster in the history of monsters ever in this century. So there you
go. Like, that's who played Silver Surfer.
He's like the epitome of that. You never know his face, but you just know the name monsters, you know? So that's kind of it.
That's fair.
This was really good though. I'm really excited for this. I really liked Barbarian. You don't like Barbarian? Oh, it's a great film, man.
Fine.
And I really liked it, and I think this is going to be really, really good. Very, very excited. Creepy trailer, creepy kids, creepy smiley face kids, scary. Julia Garner, I love. I'm excited, very excited.
Mm-hmm.
I know, you go.
I think Barbarian's good. I'm excited for this. I similar to the Smashing Machine. I hope I'm expecting there to be a lot. Like Barbarian had so many twists and turns and rug pulls, so I'm expecting that to be the same as this as well. Because I think anyone with Two brain cells sees a movie titled Weapons. It's about a bunch of kids going missing mysteriously. It's like seems very much a school shooting allegory. So I'm hoping something different, because if it's just with them all yelling and the politicians in City Hall, it seems very like on the nose school shooting commentary. So
say your Jordan Peele fact though, Tyler. Say the tweet.
Oh, we talked about that like 2 years ago on ReelTok. But we've got
new listeners since then. People don't know.
True, but yeah, we how like Jordan Peele bid for this movie and then fired his manager when he didn't win the bid for it, and I think it's a good co-sign.
It's good.
Yeah, and
Jordan Peele, hot take, good guy, knows what he's talking about.
He's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So yeah, excited for Weapons. I think it looks very creepy, and I'm expecting twists and turns.
Speaking of, I never watched Key and Peele, but I've seen a bunch of clips, and then I like watch clips online every once in a while. They're fucking funny, man.
I've never seen it. Yeah,
I mean, they got. I'm sure everything I watch are like the funny like clips of it, but man, they're good.
I do see the odd TikTok clip, and it's quite funny.
Yeah, exactly. And then and then it'll be like half the clip, and I'll go watch the YouTube video, and I'm like, that's funny. Okay, moving on to things that probably won't have as much conversation. Fear Street Prom Queen, thoughts? Are you guys Fear Street fans?
It's like a fifth one at this point.
I've never seen any of them.
I think George likes them. I think George likes
9 Perfect Strangers season 2. Anyone watch 9 Perfect Strangers?
I have no idea what that is.
I've never heard of that in my life.
It's got a big cast, so it's got I got to look it up, but it's got Henry Golding, it's got Nicole Kidman, Grace
I've
Van
never
Patten,
heard of the show.
Samara Weaving, Manny Giacchino,
wow, it's got a crazy cast.
Bobby Cannavale. Man, what the hell?
Bobby Cannavale is like one of the peak that guy, one of those guys.
Yeah, very much. Like Mark Strong's in the second season. Like it's got some fellas and some
I've never heard of the show ever.
Yep.
Is it Apple TV?
Hulu.
Oh, okay. I was good. Fuck. That's right.
Okay, that was the latest trailers. Anything I missed? Any trailer? I don't think so. Movie news this week. I think the biggest news, in my opinion, Sinners 70mm IMAX re-release May 15th to the 21st. So basically got kicked out for Thunderbolts, but it's doing so well. They're saying run that shit back. And then immediately when the tickets dropped, it sold out every theater and crashed the AMC website. So
and it'll probably only be back in IMAX for 1 week, because then I think Mission Impossible then takes it over. So they're going to try and basically anytime there's a dead week for the rest of the year.
I think they plan on re-releasing October as well. Like that was already in the plan.
Good
but they got motion. They got motion. So shout out Sinners. It's tracking to make like 350 million, but still isn't going to make it its budget back because Variety said so. This is my movies are so back. News of the week. Last week was the first time in about 2 years that we had 4 movies make $20 million at the box office. You had Sinners, Revenge of the Sith. Hell yeah. The Accountant.
Wow, Revenge of the Sith made that much?
It made like 30 million. And
is that the highest re-release of all time?
Second highest, I think, is so whatever number. If it was like 27 million, I think it's the second highest re-release. Minecraft is still on that board, still ticking off some cash. Avengers Doomsday has begun filming. Like Tyler mentioned earlier, Robert Downey posting pictures with the cast, spoiling Thunderbolts. I'm excited for Doomsday. I think if they can get themselves set up and a good running foot, going from Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Doomsday, I'll be all in by that time. They do a good job hyping you up at the end at the Thunderbolts post-credit scene. Hopefully Fantastic Four is good. Let's run into this thing and hopefully we got a good story.
Did you see the cast list? The rumored cast list?
The rumored cast list is basically everyone else, right? Everyone that wasn't announced. Mark Ruffalo, Jeremy Renner, the obvious Haley Steinfeld. Yeah, basically all the characters we haven't seen already.
Owen Wilson, who, by the way, I just didn't know was in the MCU.
He's in Loki. He's really great in Loki. Loki actually a good show.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, you may not know he's in the MCU, but you've definitely seen I'm just going to sit here and let time pass. I think I'll just sit here for a little bit and let time pass. That was like a huge like TikTok audio for a bit. That's Owen Wilson. Whatever. That's Loki. Good show. I should have mentioned this earlier with the Now You See Me trailer. Allegedly, people that signed up for their like promotion through text message got $119 Venmo sent to them.
I saw that.
Very funny of like, the four horsemen, now you see me group is always stealing from the rich, giving to the poor. Very cool marketing to do. Kicking myself at the fact that I didn't do it.
Pocket change either. That's like,
yeah.
That's
how many did they send? How much did they send total? I really want to know.
I don't know.
Probably like 7 people that signed up for text messages.
Yeah, I looked at that. It's genuinely a phone number. I looked at it and I go, maybe I'll look at that. Never did. Never signed up. So
what's
shame
Venmo?
on me.
Is that just like a cash app thing?
Oh yeah, you guys don't have Venmo?
Exactly, Cash App.
It's exactly like Cash App.
I've not seen it or used it.
Rachel Zegler and Marissa Tomei will star in a new comedy, She Gets It From Me. The film follows a woman's engagement celebration that turns into a search for her pill-popping ex-punk rocker birth mother. Shout out Rachel Zegler, but I don't think this is going to get you back on the horse. I don't think this is going to get the good faith back.
But shout out Rachel Zegler. We have good faith.
We have great faith. Rachel Zegler is fantastic in everything. Deserves more praise than what she gets. Marissa Tomei is great. I don't see this being the one that people are like, yes, she's great. She's back.
Yeah.
Sergeant Rock canceled. Maybe.
No.
Yeah. So Luca Guadagnino, Sergeant Rock. Yeah. So that's why I said maybe. Originally, it got reported that it was canceled.
Yeah.
And then it was originally back on the table, but they're axing it from the winter release. It was getting to a summer release, which would be cool.
Did you see the cast as well? But
so it's got it was like Colin Farrell, Mike Feist, and
David Johnson.
David Johnson from Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm. Really cool.
So really had a cast like they were about to start production and then it was halted. So maybe not canceled, maybe canceled. We'll see if we get a Luca Guadagnino DC movie. But as of now, the next official one is Clayface, Seth.
So wow, man, fucking ecstatic for that. Can't say too much because I'll be giving it away. When does that come out? Is it next year?
September. For some reason, my mind went to September.
Not this year.
No, next year.
Okay, I was gonna say it's next year.
September next year, maybe.
Wow, that is big things.
Movie Pass. So if you don't know what Movie Pass is, it used to be like a movie subscription service that made AMC A-List look like a clown. It was basically like $10 a month for all you can see movies, and like they made no money. Basically, they made no money. They had to go underground. People were using it like crazy. You can see any movie for like $10 a month, and you got like free food and stuff like that. They're back launching a new like fantasy football-esque movie game. So basically the synopsis I saw is users will create their own league of actors, movies, and directors to compete in tournaments, which they predict box office results, per screen averages, audience scores, and awards. Look, it's evil to put the movie universe into this light, but also, I don't know, it seems kind of fun.
Just put the movies in the past, bro. Like, do what you're known for. Why are you doing this stuff?
It is very odd. It's very like
super odd.
It's just like an all-time.
I don't think this is going to do.
It's like I feel like it's going to just disappear, and no one's.
I don't think this is going to succeed by any sense of the imagination. But it's always fun to like predict a box office for a movie. So maybe people latch onto it like a cult following of like Letterboxd. But I'd be really.
I hope it works just for this, just for the sense of when we do our beginning of the year box office predictions, it'd be nice and easy. If
way
we just
easier
have
to
an app to do it than us have to remember it. So
if
you can just let us like put box office prediction in there, like purely for ReelTok Podcast standpoint, cool, because that would save us time and energy.
That's fair. That's all the movie news I had this week. Anything I missed? Jurassic World had some Jurassic World. The next one, whatever it is, the crazy dinosaur had a
what's it called
interview this week. It's called a D-Rex.
Sorry.
No, it's Rebirth. Sorry, but the T-Rex that they
Jurassic
like, the
World
mutant
T-Rex.
dinosaur. The mutant dinosaur is called a D-Rex.
Wow.
Unironically, it would be a cooler title. If I said Jurassic World D-Rex, I'd be
D-Rex.
Like,
you're not wrong. Yeah.
This sounds unreal.
You're not wrong.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay. Yeah. Moving on. Tyler, MCU Endgame Collaborative movie ranking. You're up.
Yeah, so I'll host this. Cam has never done a movie collaborative ranking, and Seth and I have, but we'll explain it for you. It's pretty straightforward. So what we're doing is Post-Avengers Endgame MCU Collaborative ranking. So shout out to the Movie Draft Podcast. I know they also shout out like the Screen Draft Podcast. I think initially created the idea. The Movie Draft Podcast borrows, which we are now borrowing and stealing from them. So we'll give credit to all people involved. But shout out to all of them. We love the Movie Draft Podcast. We love going on there. So check them out. But we're going to be stealing their idea that they took from another person's idea. So just, ideaception. Collaborative ranking for Post-Avengers Endgame MCU movies. Normally they do like 12 or 13 on their collaborative ranking. So there's been 14 movies since. That's like a perfect amount. So we have them listed here. Spider-Man Far From Home, Black Widow, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, Eternals, Spider-Man No Way Home, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, Thor Love and Thunder, Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, The Marvels, Deadpool and Wolverine, Captain America Brave New World, and Thunderbolts. So how this is going to work is we're going to spin the wheel of names and we're going to get to decide which draft pick we're going with. But drafter A, you are going to get to select picks 11, 8, 5, and 2. And you're going to get 2 vetoes. What a veto means is if someone puts up and says, I think Deadpool and Wolverine is 14th place, that's the worst one. You say, no, it's not. I'm going to veto it. You throw a veto in and they can no longer select Deadpool and Wolverine at 14. That's select a different movie. So drafter A is going to get picks 2, 5, 8, and 11 with 2 vetoes. So they only get 4 picks. The other 2 get 5 picks. But they get the strongest pick in the second pick because obviously if you pick what the second best movie is, then even the drafter B gets the first pick, like all other 13 have been picked. So they only get one option. There's only one movie left that can go first. So that's why drafter B gets picks 1, 4, 6, 9, and 13. They get 1 veto instead of 2, but they get 1 veto override. So what that means is if Cam says Deadpool and Wolverine is 14th place, that's the worst one. And I say, no way, it's better than that. I'm going to veto it. Seth, if he's drafter B, has a veto override, can say, no, actually Cam's right. It is the worst one. I'm overriding your veto. So you get one of those. And then lastly, drafter C gets picks 3, 7, 10, 12, and 14 and gets 1 veto. So how it works is just the draft order is what you go and you just select the movie in there. And if you want to veto it and say, no, that's not where it's going, you can.
Does it need to be my pick to veto?
You can. Well, like you can veto me or Cam's
veto
picks.
Someone else.
Yeah.
And does that? Okay, right, I got you. Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Have you done this before, Seth?
Yeah, but it was like a year ago, man. I've forgotten this shit.
And the only other caveat is you cannot veto override your own pick. So like Cam, if you say Spider-Man Far From Home is 10th and then I veto it and you have the veto override, you cannot override your own veto. You can only override someone else's a veto for someone else. So we'll explain as we go through it because we're all kind of new to this. We're not seasoned like the Movie Draft Podcast, but we'll spin the list here. So whoever this name lands on gets to pick first in terms of do they want to be A, B, or C.
Okay.
So the first person who gets to pick which drafter spot they're going to be is going to be, looks like me or maybe Cam if he keeps pushing.
It's you.
Go.
Me?
Go.
Okay.
So you get to pick your position or your A?
I get to pick my position. And then the second person to get to pick their position will be Seth. And Cam will get what's remaining. I don't really know if there's a way I really want to go for this. So basically, do I want to go less picks, more veto power, or do I want to go more picks with a bunch of different veto power? I'm going to go with, I think where I'm going to go is I'll go drafter C. I'll take the more picks and the 1 veto, which I don't know, probably is the least appealing choice, but I'm going with drafter C. So Seth, what do you want, A or B?
Let's go A. Let's go A.
I wanted B. So I'm
all
right
right
with
it.
I
already kind of regret.
I think we're going to align on a lot of these. I think.
So yeah, I think here's one thing I'll shout the Movie Draft Podcast out for. One, they're great, but 2, they're very good at arguing. Like they make it very entertaining. I don't argue a whole lot. Like
we need George here. He's a very argumentative person.
I feel like Cam will argue a lot of these.
Yeah, that's possibly true.
I think
but
the one that Cam likes.
Yeah, so So I pick first, right?
Well, no, I do because I have 14. You have 13.
It goes in order.
Oh, okay. So we're going. Okay,
yeah.
I thought. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm seeing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So give it your best.
I will start 14th. The worst movie post Endgame. I think the most of our debate. I mean, there's gonna be some debate everywhere around, but I think a lot of us probably align some with the top. But I think this middle chunk is gonna be vicious. But 14th spot, I'm gonna go with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. I think that is the worst Marvel project post Endgame.
I gotta be creative. I don't know when I want to use my vetoes.
Yeah, you can either use, so a big thing with the movie draft podcast, you know, sometimes people keep in their pockets the vetoes and then they run out by that, or they don't use them, so they kind of just left with vetoes in their pocket. But also, you know, you might want to. It's like if Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania is your 13th highest, then maybe a veto is not really worth the power there. It's usually, you know, someone says something crazy like, I don't know, Sophie Holsinger saying like Pulp Fiction's the worst Quentin Tarantino movie. That's when you're like, yeah, this is where we gotta use the vetoes for. So any vetoes here? We good with Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania?
No, it's fucking shit.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. I thought I had the Marvels lower, but they're neck and neck bad. So I'm okay with this pick.
Easy enough. Yeah. Ass movie. I give it maybe I do give it a half star. Yeah, it's dropped to a half star at this point for me. Just nothing redeeming about it at this point.
I think Kang is good. Kang, you know, could have been better, obviously, but I think Kang is good. I gotta go take off the shows from my MCU ranking because it doesn't have all of the shows, you know. So
yeah, that's frustrating. But Cam, you're up next.
So I get next. I'm trying to go look at my rankings real quick. I didn't realize I had it lower. So, you know, it makes it easier, I guess. But my next lowest is Deadpool and Wolverine, which I don't think I'll get much pushback from on this podcast.
I haven't seen it. So
it's my 13th. So
I hate Deadpool. So I'm going to assume that I would hate Deadpool and Wolverine. So
it's a movie I rewatched. And it doesn't hold up. I'm sorry to the Deadpool and Wolverine riders. It's just,
which there are a lot of, but yeah, that's my 13th movies. No debates here.
Yeah, because Alex said he was ranking all these, and he obviously goes viral fairly more often than me, but he has people in his mentions calling for his head right now. So it's always fun. Yep.
Look at George's comments on every Let's Box review.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, bro-rated Deadpool, Wolverine, or whatever. Yeah. So next up, so now it's back to me for 12.
It's got to be Tyler. Come on, there's one there.
So I have two movies tied for 1.5 star, and that's where we're going here. But we're going with number 12. I'm going Thor: Love and Thunder.
Correct one. That is
I think the only thing I was redeeming over the other ones is Gore the God Butcher is awesome.
Everything else
is pretty bad.
My bad, y'all. I would have put that at 13. I kind of forgot about Thor.
Okay, I was kind of wondering if you were gonna have any issues with that.
Yeah, but Deadpool and Wolverine at 13 is better for clicks anyway, so it's fine.
That's totally fine. Yeah, bad movie, that Thor: Love and Thunder, and I rewatched it, and it's worse. It's worse on rewatch. Like I'm super pro Marvel, but the bad movies in the Marvel universe get worse on rewatch every time, I think.
Yeah, now we're at the Seth for his first pick at number 11.
All right. I should preface this. I haven't seen the Captain America film, the new one, and Thunderbolts. I think that's it.
What are you doing?
And obviously Deadpool and Wolverine.
What are you doing? Missing the last Marvel movies. You're killing me.
Sorry, Cam. What do I want to go for?
All right.
I mean, it's got to be the Marvels. I think I give that like a 2 or like a 1. I didn't think it was like terrible. It's not the bottom of the barrel MCU for me, but I think it's bad.
I give it a 2.5. So I'm loving this ranking. Outside of the Thor: Love and Thunder miss, that would have been 14 for me. I'm loving this ranking.
Yeah, I mean, Marvels for me, that's at 10 in my ranking. You're putting it at 11, so no issues with me there. I think it's an unfortunate movie with people that I like in it that didn't get the justice they deserve. So,
like, really, really catastrophic villain in that one. I can't remember her name, and I love the actress. It's one of my favorite shows as well.
It's like Dar-Ben or something. Yeah, Dar-Ben.
Really bad.
Nothing name there. Absolutely nothing.
Who's got 10? That's Tyler.
Me. So yeah, I guess I don't know why I picked Drafter C because I'm more. Well, I guess I didn't realize we all aligned so much on the ones we dislike the most, and I have some that I'm really strongly just don't like, and it's like I guess we're all the same. So didn't really need all this bottom power that I have. So I'm gonna go number 10. The movie that I did have at number 11, and that would be Captain America: Brave New World.
Yeah, it's a bad movie. I'm not. We align a lot on this ranking, y'all.
This was my thought process going. I thought this would happen. Yeah.
I think the middle is where it could get interesting, though. But I think Captain America: Brave New World is a movie that there's elements of it I really like, and the elements of it that are bad are like really just awful, just terrible stuff. Perfectly summarized with like their post-credit scene just being like the most embarrassing one there's been. But number 10 for me, Captain America: Brave New World. Now we're into the single digits, and number 9 is going to be back to Cameron.
9.
None of us use single digit.
I think there's one here that I would put as 9 for sure. There's like a certain one.
So I gotta look at my ranking again. I'm just going purely off of where do I rank them? Damn, is that really next? No, that can't be true. I gotta edit this ranking because that just can't be true. Let me go see. There's one movie that I have pretty low, but I frankly don't believe that it's that low. Yeah, it's above that. Okay, so at the very least, so I think next for me of this group is Black Widow.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That's like a 2.5.
Tyler and I have it at the same rating, but obviously I rate others much higher. So I know you like it, but Black Widow's my 9.
Yeah, I like Black Widow. Don't love it. I haven't seen it since like 2021 or maybe beginning 2022 was when I first saw it for the first time. Am I passionate enough?
It came out July 10th, 2021. If you saw it opening day,
I did not see it in theaters for sure. I know that.
So. Well, it came out. Well, I guess Disney Plus.
True. Then I don't know. Maybe it was when it came out, but. Black Widow's scene is probably fitting here, but it's like I'm just trying to look ahead. Like, where else would I want to use a veto? I feel like I might want to use it here. Push Black Widow up.
If you use a veto here, do I have to pick a different movie?
Correct.
What if none of us use our vetoes?
Well, it's like I'm using my veto. I'm using it because
you're gonna use it.
For me, this is way higher, and it's like, am I passionate about Black Widow to use veto? Not really, but also at the same time, like. I just don't see anywhere else I would ever use it. So
yeah,
we'll throw it out. Shot at Black Widow. I liked it in almost 4 years. Jesus, time slime. 4 years ago, whatever it came out. Cameron, what's the pick instead at number 9?
A movie I dropped pretty heavily on my last rewatch is one we just talked. It's Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. Again, I have it at a 3.5. This is gonna. If we make a graphic here, this is an eye turner. If Black Widow's ahead of Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, I feel like. Make sure to put Black Widow back into the
you're right.
Pool, Tyler. But this is one, obviously, like it starts off really strong. I think it starts off really strong, and Namor is great. But frankly, the end
final
CGI battle is really, really bad.
It's horrifically really bad. Yeah, and I liked it as well, but the final scene is like bad.
Yeah,
it didn't hurt too that like it came out right before Avatar: Way of Water, and that trailer like played before it. So it's like you see this beautiful, incredible.
I don't think
the
water looks that bad. I remember you making that comment then. I still don't think it.
No, but then you compared it to.
Yeah, it's nothing like Avatar: The Way of Water, but this movie was an impossible movie for Ryan Coogler to do. Like, how are you gonna Chadwick Boseman passing? It's like you can't just not address it, but like, how do you do it? And I mean, it's like this movie was never gonna work. It would be impossible to make this movie work. I really like Namor, and we're gonna see more of him. But yeah, I think unfortunately, like we obviously are all huge Ryan Coogler heads here. But
did you do a deliberate pun then? Or did I hear that wrong?
Oh, I did not try. What did I say?
I thought you said I really like Namor, and we're gonna see no more of him.
I didn't try, but yeah,
I didn't hear that. You picked up on that one. I didn't hear that one.
Nice. Yeah, I'll credit to Seth on that one. But I think this is 2.5 star for movie for me. A movie that I think I really liked when it first came out, purely from like the emotional sentiment of Chadwick Boseman. But once that kind of like washes off of you, and you kind of like just assess the movie for what it is, you're like, yeah, this is kind of rough. But we're at Seth now for number 8.
Oh, I'll do, and this will get vetoed immediately by. Actually, no, I won't. I'll do Black Widow. I'll do Black Widow. I think that's like a 2.5 for me. So that's like
that's a. I feel like I saw where you were going, but that's a nice draft day trade right there of Tyler. You win. You vetoed for one spot right there. Now you gotta somehow play your cards and get all of your vetoes back.
No, it's
we can make a trade.
Scarlett Johansson will remember this. She'll know I vetoed to get one spot higher, and I think I did this podcast a service because I think it being higher than Black Panther Wakanda Forever is going to help. Some conversations. If we, we always say this, but then we never end up posting.
We never post a graphic.
So we haven't posted graphics.
We don't have any way to post. I don't know how to make a graphic. Tyler, you do plenty for this pod already. I'm not going to ask you to make a graphic.
I've tried in the past. I'm really bad at this sort of thing.
Yeah, like I know George used to cap cut them, but it's.
Yeah,
maybe I'll just rank them as a letterbox list and post that or something.
So if you want to make one of us,
you could do that.
You could tweet at us, and we'll steal it from you and give you credit, and we'll credit you.
We'll do the how they via deadline, via variety,
exactly
random.
So from now on, anytime we say make a graphic, anyone can do it. You tweet it at ReelTok Podcast, then we will tweet it out. Say,
make a graphic. We mean you do the graphic, and then send it.
Exactly.
We'll send you like a
free labor,
50% coupon to the ReelTok Podcast store or something,
and maybe like a free Discord entry or something.
Yeah, there we go. Free
these are real
invites for Discord. These are we're brainstorming. You can join our Discord for free if you make 5 graphics
for a month
for us.
No free rides, just for a month. One graphic. Come on, each graphic gets you another month.
Yeah,
we'll call it that.
Number 7 is where we are at now, and that is me again, which is really unfortunate. I don't know why I picked Drafter C. Because I'm going to be kind of out of the conversation for a while, but and I'm just going to clear up some clutter real quick, just so we can see what we got left ahead of us. But number 7 here, I have a couple movies tied here at the 2.5, but going, we see this on the Movie Draft podcast. Sometimes people might be just trying to purely suss out vetoes. I'm not going to do that because I do truly wait. Actually, no, this is my lowest next one. So, Cam, we're going Spider-Man Far From Home is my lowest next rated.
You're getting vetoed immediately, so don't worry about it. Number 9. So don't even worry about copy and pasting.
Control Z, and we'll get one veto down. So that is, for the listeners, that would be my number 9.
I feel like you baited me into that, though. Like you truly wanted something else, and you baited me into the veto.
No, I thought, but I mean, in my rankings right here, which is number 9, so I was
that is my lowest left as well.
So we'll go with, but I do have 3 other movies tied at the same ranking. But when I have my list here rated, it is the lowest one. But I'll go next. I'll go Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings.
Hell yeah!
A movie that I really love. Well, no, I love the first act. Really like the second act, and the third act for me, I think, is really falls apart. Again,
going back to watch it,
just the CGI battle at the end, I think, is pretty bad.
Going back to watch it, man, I'm shocked it doesn't have what was this, 2021 or something? I'm shocked it doesn't have a sequel yet, or at least a plan for a sequel.
Did it make a lot of money? I don't know how this one did.
It made like
Simu Liu is on the picture with Rob Downey Jr., so they'll be back for that.
He's in Doomsday. The dude kept his job.
Yeah.
So he's in Doomsday.
But hand-to-hand combat's awesome. The bus, what is it? They're on the bus, right? When they do that kind of thing. That's such one of the cooler scenes we've seen. I think the final act is just really rough with the CGI final battle, but I like a lot of.
Yeah, but even right before that, you have a really emotional fight with his dad. Like it works. It works. It does.
If Seth doesn't want to veto it, then we're saying in there. But Seth, you got 2 vetoes. Not saying you should use it.
I got a 3 star, so I don't.
Not passionate enough. Yeah.
No.
Is it me? For my next pick. So I get
number 6, Cam.
Oh, it's Cam. Yeah.
I think I get my movie into at least the top 5, but for my next pick, I'm going with Eternals. And this is like, again, no one's going to make a graphic, but if you do make a graphic, like this is one that would like really irk the common man because people hate Eternals. Eternals has so much sauce. Like going back and watching that thing.
Love it, I feel like though. Like I got a lot of comments about
that's fair.
Like, I thought it was fine. I don't hate it, but I think it's good. Cool. It's fine. It's good. Cool.
Yeah, it's a 2.5 for me. I think it has a lot of sauce visually, and the characters are interesting, but you could tell, and you could tell when you watched it, which has further been proven by the 4 years since, that you could tell like this probably isn't leading to much, is it? And
you can tell they got a real director to be the higher.
Yeah, even though I hate Nomadland, awful.
Yeah, I mean, like still, even so. Yeah, it's fine. I'm fine with that. Am I going next or?
Yes, you are up.
You're
Number
next.
5. Top 5 now.
What would I take now? I'll take Thunderbolts.
Wow, drafted a movie I haven't seen.
Shit, dude. Who's got the veto?
Seth has 2.
Why would you not Far From Home? All right.
It's just funny.
What the fuck? Can I veto? Can I veto
Because
Override?
if you make a graphic and we post it, you know.
Can I veto Override?
No, no one's vetoed.
Seth drafted movies you haven't seen.
That's
How
fucked
far
up, man.
the-
That's
Hey,
crazy.
listen, if anyone makes a graphic,
I've been there
do
before,
that.
though. I
That's
feel
the
like
That is crazy vibes right there.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't go Far From Home, but more power to you.
Well, I mean, Far From Home, I still have like a 3 stars. I think it's still positive for me.
but now it's going to be a top 3 film because Cam's not going to put it in 4.
Yeah, but 2 of these I have a 3-star that are left anyway, so it doesn't really matter, you know?
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't know if that's entirely true that I'm not going to put it at 4, but I am. Yeah,
That'd be
I
shocking,
am
but
gonna
I'd
put
like
at
it.
4.
Oh wow!
So
Nice.
it's dropped a decent amount on my MCU rewatch, and frankly, one of the movies that made the highest jump was well, maybe not the highest jump. I enjoyed it.
Wait, is No Way Home
just as
higher
much.
than that now for you?
No Way Home is higher, yeah.
Oh.
But then Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness also leapt a little because that's a good movie. It's a good movie. Big fan.
Mm-hmm. Now it's to me for number 3.
I should have done No Way Home just for the graphic that's going to get made.
I don't love Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, but I think it's cool that we got it in the top 3.
It's good.
Seth wants to veto and make it higher, but Sam Raimi has abundant sauce, but at the end of the day, the story leaves a lot to be desired for me personally.
Do I veto for the graphic? No,
I'm fine with it. It's hard though. Like,
just
Spider-Man
veto
No Way
so
Home
I can veto Override so that we can say, "Oh, we used our stuff." Otherwise, we're gonna not have anything. Use your veto.
I told
There's
you
no conflict here.
Use your veto, Seth.
Veto. I
veto
it.
Override.
Oh, fuck, man. That's great. How could you do that?
What a reaction.
MCU Collaborative Ranking, heated.
No, I
just put this on the thumbnail.
A
bomb explodes in the background. Crazy.
Yeah, Doctor Strange in the top 3.
Friendship almost ends. In parentheses. Seth not coming to New York anymore? Question mark.
I'm crying.
Oh my god.
He's not going. Just Mr.
Like
Beast graphic. Someone put that on the graphic. Put that on the graphic. I'm sorry. What the fuck, man?
Once Seth comes back to life, you can make his second pick here.
Veto yourself, Seth.
My eyes, man. I'm literally crying right now. That's crazy.
That's so stupid. Have you seen both of these? You have, right?
Yeah, I like these poses. I mean, this was like always gonna be the 2-in-1, wasn't it? I'll go No Way Home because I think Guardians 3
for a while there. I would have put No Way Home lower, but it holds up still. Like,
I mean, they're like
my number
the 2
one
standouts for me anyway. 3.5 out of 4. I like those films.
Yeah, my number 1 will obviously be Guardians 3, and I don't think even I wanted B because I thought we were starting at the top. So that one's on me, but I don't think that would have gotten vetoed. Anyways,
no,
I hope not.
I think that's all of our favorite of this list.
Tyler C. Whitmore at one point had it as a 5-star, mind you.
Mm-hmm. I did.
Great ReelTok lore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad ranking.
No, I think so. Yeah, Guardians 3 was always going to be number 1 for us, and that's why, like, veto wise, I was like, I want to save it to make sure that it's number 1, but I was like, no, all of us going to keep it there. Ultimately, though, Seth didn't use one of his vetoes. I used it because I didn't think I would use it anywhere else. On Black Widow, moved up 1. I would have rather used it on Thunderbolts to get that above Far From Home for sure.
Yeah, same.
But ultimately, I think it's a solid list here. Yeah, I don't know. I think
this might be my list. I'm trying to think. I mean, Thunderbolts I haven't seen. Wakanda Forever I'd have higher than Black Widow, I think, and probably Shang-Chi as well. That's kind of it, though.
I'd have Thor: Love and Thunder at the bottom. I'd have Thunderbolts on second.
Wow, Love and Thunder dropped that much for you? I was worried playing it where it did. I thought you would say
bad. Man, it's really bad. Shout out Christian Bale. Gore the God Butcher is kind of cool in it, but it's bad, guys. It's really bad.
It is bad. It's really bad.
Spider-Man No Way Home is such an interesting movie because that's the one that like me and Seth, I feel like the opposite of like everyone else. Whereas like I feel like every other MCU movie is faded for me and Seth. Whereas like when we rewatched both of us, when we rewatched No Way Home for the Spider-Man film episode we did, we were both kind of like, oh, you know what? Actually, not as bad as I remember. Maybe I liked it actually a little more.
Yeah, surprising.
So, cool, but yeah, there's our ranking. So Post-Avengers Endgame MCU Collaborative ranking of movies. The worst is Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania at 14. 13th, Deadpool and Wolverine. 12th, Thor: Love and Thunder. 11, The Marvels. 10, Captain America: Brave New World. 9, Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. 8, Black Widow. 7, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. 6, Eternals. 5, Thunderbolts. 4, Spider-Man: Far From Home. 3, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. 2, Spider-Man: No Way Home. Number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, with controversy and drama of the veto and the veto override, keeping viewers and listeners alike on the edge of their seats.
I truly think I truly think I ride harder for I'm Far From Home's on my brand, so I have to, but I think I might ride for Thunderbolt harder now.
Where is it on your oh no, I know it's 7 because I watched your video yesterday.
7. This guy, appreciate it, man.
Sorry, no worries.
This guy supports.
But shout out to the Movie Draft Podcast again, and shout out to the Screen Draft Podcast. I think initially came up with this idea, but I think that'll wrap us up.
I posted 3 TikToks yesterday.
I love your day in the life TikToks,
man. And then we're about to be on vacation. So I think that I have a fun idea on vacation for like I had 20 notifications. I haven't looked at it in like that's rare for me because I just haven't posted it forever. 20 notifications, I'll take.
And you do more of like the funny jumping shit.
Yeah, see, like those things were fun, but I was also all alone in a hotel room.
Yeah, but
frankly, if I were alone and had no one watching me ever, I'd have some great.
The handstand on the door is like your best moment.
Yeah,
it's
just like
really
get some stupid shit.
I want some cannonball content. I assume in Florida they'll be out at some point. You're in a body of water. I need some cannonball.
Yes, of course. So what we're going to is actually really cool. It's not like Disney World or anything like that. It's like a Marriott, but it's like a water park Marriott basically, because like all of Florida, everything is an attraction. It's a hotel chain. Okay. It's like a water park like hotel. So like. It's very cool. It's gonna be very fun. And like Emma's mom, it was pitched to me originally as like a free vacation because Emma's mom is traveling there for work. So we're just staying in her room. So it was pitched to me as we just have to pay for the flights. Everything there though, you have to pay for, right? Like you have to pay to go to the water park. You have to pay to do this. So like we spent way too much money on it, but I have a like fun TikTok idea of like everything we spent money on in our free vacation. Like, but I don't know how it'll.
How far are you from Florida? Oh, I don't know where you're going in Florida.
That's it's like a 3-hour flight.
Nice.
So a little bit farther.
When are you going?
It's like a 20-hour drive. I've made the drive plenty.
Oh, when are you going?
I leave at 3 a.m. tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you said yeah, of course.
Yep. But that's the episode. Seth, Tyler, thank you for joining. Appreciate Tyler, you talking Thunderbolts with me and agreeing to listen to me just spew nonsense for an hour. Seth, I hope you have a wonderful week and get to Thunderbolts sometime. I think you'll enjoy it more than Mr. Carmi, most likely. George, we miss you. We miss him though. We miss him dearly. Hope to have him back next week. Shout out to our executive producers, Cody Whitney, Stefan Johnson, Cole Beaver, Christian Sinton. Stefan Johnson has been a writer forever, so shout out him. Shout out everyone in the Discord, everyone in the Patreon. Please go follow us on Twitter. We're about 1,500 subscribers away from 10K on YouTube. That would be crazy. I would appreciate, you telling your friends, you telling your family, go watch the ReelTok podcast, or at the very least, just go subscribe. It'd be
you don't have to watch it, just subscribe.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to hit that number. It would be really, really cool. We can't thank you all enough for the support that you've shown the past like 2.5 years that we've been doing this. But like 10K is kind of it's not a lot, compared to a lot of like people on YouTube, but it is a lot in terms of what I expect. Like that's crazy to me. Mm-hmm. That's crazy. That's really cool. So hopefully we get there soon. And then remember,
and if you don't get us there, no in-person podcast when we are together. That's the
true. You got clock's ticking for you guys. 2 months to get us there.
10K in the next 2 months would be awesome. If we got to that would be awesome. Also, remember 20K and I get a ReelTok tattoo. 20K by the end of the year, I get a ReelTok tattoo. So go get us to the YouTube goals. We
do one of these stupid videos again.
Yeah, Mateo, make a fire edit of Cam asking for the tattoo, and then some crazy just goes.
Put in my tattoo that got absolutely fumbled.
Put like heated or something in the. We can bait a little bit.
Put an explosion behind me. All right, y'all. I appreciate it. That's enough rambling. This week we have a auction draft, Leonardo DiCaprio on Thursday, and then we will be doing a Patreon review on Friday, strictly for the members of the Patreon, of a Nightcrawler. So that's like number 67 we've done strictly in the Patreon. Hell yeah. So thank you all. $5 a month for the Patreon to get Discord, YouTube, extra videos a week, like super simple. And then everything after that is just, do you simply want to support us? So thank you all. And, merch discounts, there's a lot of it. But thank you all.
Real quickly, last thing, next week, we'll come up with an idea if we don't get one in the comments, but comment down below ideas for next, because next week's a true movie desert. There's like, we say like, oh, nothing's coming out next week, but it's like a minor release. Like there's like nothing at all coming out next week that anyone would care to hear about, or any of us would care to see. And I just mean absolutely nothing, like not even just the most desert of movies coming out. So let us know if there's a special topic you want to see us do. After this, we get, we're going to do probably Final Destination episode the week after, and then Mission Impossible episodes. Like we got a lot of stuff coming, but next week, literally nothing. So comment down below what you would like to see, and do it fast, because we're going to probably start planning our episode. You usually start like Tuesday, Wednesday. So this comes up on Monday. Get your comments in fast. Like type as fast as you freaking can right now. But yeah.
And if you're still listening to this point, please comment what you want to see, but also comment, even though you're washed, we still love you, George. Because I am leading the George's wash train, but I also fear that when you have the whole internet calling you washed, I fear it impacts you a little bit. So I hope he's all right. But even though you're washed, we still love you, George.
Yes.
I think that's it. Thank you for coming to the ReelTok Podcast. We love you. Good night.
Peace.